Live number 3. A new update has come forward pertaining to um, Mr. Strain. Police Department has given a press conference just to give you information to what they have been doing. Also, I'm going to show you content from the community, people concerned about the young man. Also, billboards have gone up pertaining to Mr. Strain. And where is he? And who has information to his whereabouts? That's the live stream for today. Live number 3. Please check out the last 2 lives done on this network pertaining to Wendy Williams, Mr. Strain, Scott Peterson, and there's somebody else I'm missing in there. I'll throw it out there in a minute. And then Mr. Korberg, I mentioned to you all briefly that the Supreme Court has denied his request to dismiss his trial. Oh, and the other live stream I did before this one is pertaining to the New York dismemberment of the Mr. Malcolm Brown and Donna Keneally. Brought you that information that he is related to one of the suspects, Mr. Stephen Brown. So those are the last topics I did a few hours ago. Hello, Marie Davis. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie, 129 Cash App, stickers and chats are always welcome to the live stream. This is live number 3. Please enjoy the content. Polls will possibly be put up during the live. If not, they'll be on my community board. Please go to the community board to take the said polls. And periodically, I will put up a poll or more during the live stream. Let's get down to business, everybody. We're going to take you to Nashville, Tennessee, to this debacle that's unfolding pertaining to this young man. And I must say, because I sent the message to Chris Thorns a little while ago, I've never heard of billboards going up this quick for a missing person. I think back to Summer Wells, other missing cases of people I've known here in the community that cases I've worked on, Deshina Kyle, another young man, Mr. Carr. No billboards of those people. But Nashville, Tennessee has a missing 22-year-old man from Missouri, the University of Missouri. He already has a billboard up under 6 days. I'm not trying to be funny, but you see, there are people who actually care. They'll spend the money to put up a billboard. That's all I'm saying. Missing people all over the United States, black, white, Latino, 6 days. He already has a billboard up. Do the math.
This morning, billboards are now up in Nashville, spreading the word about missing college student Riley Strain. This one is located off I-24 near Trinity Lane, alerting drivers about the case. Now, Riley's family remains in Nashville this morning, hopeful to find any clues about where he went after he disappeared from downtown Nashville last Friday night. Blake Eason spent the morning retracing Riley Strain's known steps. He's joining us live now with an update on the case and the search. Blake.
Hey, good morning to you, Nikhil. It is certainly an all-hands-on-deck effort right now. We're talking billboards on the highway, boats in the water behind us, and you can actually hear Metro Police's helicopter actually flying above us right now, scanning alongside the river, trying to find any possible clues to learn what happened to that college senior. And as you mentioned, this morning we had a chance to go location by location and retrace the steps that Riley could have possibly walked before he went missing in downtown Nashville. The mysterious disappearance of 22-year-old Riley Strain began on Friday when he was reportedly kicked out of this bar right here. This is Luke Bryan's Broadway bar. It sits at the corner of Broadway and 3rd. Now, the next possible sighting that we saw of Strain was just a few blocks from here on Church Street, which would suggest the most likely route he could have possibly taken was simply walking this way of 3rd Avenue. The next time we would see Riley would be from this surveillance video here at the Smoke and Vape Shop on Church. This sits in between 2nd Avenue and 3rd Avenue. If you remember from that video, we would see Riley walk right down this sidewalk, trip over something, get back up before continuing down Church Street, making his way closer to the river. The next time we'd see Riley was crossing the crosswalk here at 1st Avenue from Church Street, walking on to North Gay Street. Now, if you see here, there's certainly a curve that he would have had to pass by, which goes along with what his parents told us was the last time his phone ping was a few hundred yards north of here on Gay Street at the James Robertson Parkway Bridge. And so, Nikhil, to refresh your memory, this is surveillance video that we saw there on First Avenue where he was crossing to Church Street, making his way towards North Gay Street. This was sent out from Metro Police. It was on Friday night around 10 o'clock or so. And that's the last that we've seen.
Let me pause right here. Please go back and watch it so you can see it bigger on your own television. WKRN is the source. There is a green bench sitting feet away from where he's maneuvering on this street. He has crossed the street. People are out. One road looked like it had a little roadblock thing. Homeless person pulling a buggy or wagon with stuff. That might be the person that saw him, I'm not sure. But if you look closely in this video, past the guy with the cowboy hat on, there is a green bench just a few feet away from that. You'll see right there in that corner, right there, right in that corner, there is a bench, okay? So this is crazy, crazy, crazy. Right where he is standing, there's a pole, there are little metal things on the concrete going to the grass. He could have easily sat down. This is what I said during the last live stream. Why didn't he go into a business to ask for help? Somebody please help me use my phone to call an Uber. I'm very drunk. I would have went into a well-lit business, went up to the front counter if I could, and asked somebody to please, can you help me navigate my app? So that is what the police are waiting on now, is the phone data. It pings past the bridge, which is dangerous because I'm assuming that bridge is past the river. I don't think he went into the river. I think he probably met with foul play and somebody crossed past that river, possibly with his phone. You will hear later from authorities that they don't suspect foul play as of yet. Naturally, there's nobody that has surfaced pertaining to Mr. Strain, but you have to use common sense. This man is inebriated. He's inebriated in the video. You don't know how far he would have walked. He did 15 minutes thus far from where you get a time stamp of him on a video somewhere out of range from that bar. You can't expect a person to continuously, aimlessly walk the streets inebriated. At some point, they're going to get tired and they'll possibly pass out, which you saw a video earlier that I showed you on this network where he did fall down, because that means he cannot sustain himself by standing upright. 6'7", that's a lot of weight to carry, even though he was thin for his height at 160. But when you are drunk, you could be 5 feet tall and 90 pounds. It's too much to carry.
Of Riley on surveillance video as of now. And so, as you can imagine, it continues to be an all-hands-on-deck effort. I mentioned the boats that we saw here in the Cumberland River. Metro Police's helicopters still flying above us, but also this is continuing to stretch miles, wanting to get as any information that they possibly can. Coming up here on News 2, we'll introduce you to the company that's responsible for blasting this information across billboards all across the city, free of charge, just to hopefully get some sort of clue as to where Riley could be. Reporting live in Nashville, Blake Easton, News 2.
Okay. So some company or companies paid for the billboards. Very noble of you all. Thank you. But then many people are going to say, well, damn, we had a lot of people missing in our area, our town, our jurisdiction. Nobody donated money. Little white girl missing out of the holler. I rode the interstates up and down from 2001 up until fall of 2023. And I never saw one billboard of Summer Wells. And I'm not trying to compare the two, but hell, I am comparing the two. Hell, why not? Little black children missing. No billboards. Hispanic children missing. No billboards. White, black, and Hispanic grown-ups missing. No billboards. Just saying. Because one thing my father told me a long time ago, people do what they want with the money. Yes, they do. What happened? Where did he go? Did he go past the river? Did he walk on that sidewalk past the river, cross over the bridge, and then foul play met him near the bridge, after the bridge? I don't think he's in the water, per se. I think he would have stayed on the, the beaten path or sidewalk. But my goodness, at some point you have to ask yourself, why wouldn't this child try to speak to someone and ask for help? Why keep continuously walking? 15 minutes walking drunk and you don't know where you are, you're unaware of your faculties, you need to stop walking. I would have never walked that far. I would have waited outside that bar if I had to sit on the ground or walk into a business next door and ask for help. I would have not aimlessly continued to walk those city streets knowing I could not hold myself up, number one, but I'm not him. And that's why this is baffling. So now we're going to go into the belly of the beast. Since somebody in the chat said they thought he was set up. You got to say who set it up, what's the motive, bartender, his friends. Was he drugged? Because the fact that he's walking, stopping, turning around, looking, go back in the opposite direction, perhaps will lead you to believe that perhaps maybe he was more than inebriated. He was drunk. Will we find out? He doesn't have a legal amount of alcohol in his system. Once found, say, whoa, are we talking about somebody who was Mickey'd? Somebody put a Molly in his drink, and this is why he's acting this way. Because his family member spoke earlier, she's never seen him like this before. So then you have to ask her, well, have you been around him in a setting of drinking? Because if you've never been around him drinking, then you can't say, I've never seen him. You can only say the times you were around him, he never became intoxicated. So you have to say, I have been around him drinking, and he's never been that inebriated. That's what I would say. Because if you don't drink, he knows you don't drink, then you would have no reason to be in his company while he's drinking. So then you got to ask that question. Is he an avid drinker? Would he be considered an alcoholic, functioning alcoholic? Or he just wanted to party it down, have up a good time, and now he's in a dire situation or the worst case situation? But someone put that in the chat earlier. Maybe he was drugged. That's a very good question. Maybe he was. Maybe that's why he fell down. He's walking, aimlessly and stumbling over himself. Like I said, he looked like a wild octopus while he was out there on that street. Maybe somebody put something in his drink just to have a little fun. Okay? You've got different conversations going on from chat, frat boys, nothing happening in the bar. But family members are saying, hey, I want to hear what happened in the bar. I want to know what happened in the bar. I want to know the conversation. That's how I feel. I want to know what the hell was said. I want somebody to play the audio of him in the bar with the sound. And I want to hear somebody say to him, hey, sir, you've had too much to drink. We need you to leave. And then we get his response. Then we also hear the responses of the people that's with him. That helps you get a better understanding of what was going on. Who was talking to him? Did somebody hand him a drink? Was he drinking out of other people's glasses? What exactly did he drink? 1 beer, 2 beers, mixed liquor, shots of liquor? All that's relevant. What he drank at the last place? Boom, bingo card. Could he have been drugged at the last place? Shut your mouth. Oh, sucky now. See, you don't know because you don't know him. You don't know the company he was in. Could have sat his beer down. Somebody put something in it. He picked it up. Could have picked up the wrong beer and somebody put something in a beer. See, you don't know. Did they dance? Thousands of questions you can ask pertaining to this young man. Let's hear what the community has to say pertaining to Mr. Strain. And once again, thank you to whomever put up the billboards for this young man. Hopefully something will resonate with some people in the community who were out that night and now realize he's missing. They remember seeing him walking, stumbling, falling. I saw something in the comment section where somebody said a homeless person had his shirt on or had a shirt similar to his on. Well, as I said, you need a receipt to all of that he said, she said stuff. Because I'm sure a lot of people are going to start talking. And this usually is what happens with true crime. People start babbling, people start making up stuff, and then you don't know what to believe. But the one thing I do know, 6'7", 160 pounds, he would be visible wherever he sat or laid. And we're in the day 6 and there's no update. And that's bizarre to me. Very bizarre. Will we find out he was drugged? Maybe not even legally drunk, but drugged. or legally drunk and drugged. What's the truth? Thank you for joining me, everybody. Brief information. Hello, Lolo. Thank you for patronizing, sweetheart. Thank you. This is live number 3, everybody. Live number 3.
Riley Strain is still missing, but search crews say they won't give up until they find him. Sharing this video with us tonight, deploying 2 boats to keep searching the Cumberland riverbank. Thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. I'm Rory Johnston. The 22-year-old college student visiting here from Missouri hasn't been seen since last Friday night, nearly a week. Still no answers. Tonight, our Nikki Hauser talked with police and other visitors who were also downtown last weekend.
It was a pretty busy Friday night here on Broadway when Riley was last seen. 5 days later, still nobody has been able to find him. It's not only bringing up concern in this community, but a conversation that needs to be had about how important it is to ask when something's wrong.
I can't even, I teared up this morning because I saw the story this morning and I teared up looking at it.
The story in question on everyone's mind.
I really, the biggest hope is that they find him okay.
Where is Riley Strain? The 22-year-old student went to Luke Bryan's bar Friday night with a group of fraternity brothers. He left alone. To this day, investigators are trying to figure out where he went. Security video from police and nearby businesses showed the approximate path he took.
Let's go back. He's running. Why would he be running?
The zoo student went to Luke Bryan's bar Friday night
Pay
with
attention.
a group of fraternity brothers. He left alone. To this day, investigators are trying to figure out where he went. Security video from police and nearby businesses showed the approximate.
Was he running just because he's running across a street, such as, as to catch, past the lights? I'm trying to understand. This is strange to me.
Took, stumbling from Broad. The zoo student went to Luke Bryan's bar Friday night with a group of fraternity brothers. He left alone. To this day, investigators are trying to figure out where he went. Security video from police and nearby businesses showed the approximate path he took, stumbling from Broad.
Let me stop. The camera I'm showing on you is not showing you the full view of the sidewalk because the screen is narrow. But when you watch this in full screen, that's a regular sidewalk because there's a parking lot just paces over from where he's running. So it's an actual sidewalk, not him crossing the street as to dodge traffic. So why would he be running, then he's seeming disoriented? This is bizarre to me. This is very bizarre to me because that would make me think maybe somebody tried to stop and tried to say something to him. Hey, buddy, you got a light. Hey, buddy, you got $2. Hey, buddy, you got $3. See where I'm going with this? Because you can't be 1 minute drunk and stumbling over yourself and then running, then you stop running and then you are stumbling over yourself. Please have the queen understand. Because as I said, I'm looking at it outside of what I got with you all. That was a whole strip of a sidewalk, if I'm not mistaken. And I can stand to be corrected because I see the little posts that separate where he's running, separated by, what you call it, beams or steel beams, and then across, and then on the other side of that is like a parking lot. So why would he be running? I've got to
Third.
Go back here because this is something that's bothering me now.
Figure out where he went. Security video from police and nearby businesses showed the approximate
He's running.
path he took, stumbling from Broadway to Avenue, then Church to Gay Street near the river, where officials searched this week.
We were all looking through our phones.
So that's a nice walk.
Or at our photos from that night to see if we could see anything on the street.
Let's go back.
To Gay Street near the river, where officials searched this week.
We were all looking through our phones, looking at cameras at our photos from that.
So he's going around corners, making it on a walk path past the river. He couldn't have fallen in the river because the phone would have stopped pinging at the river, don't you think? I'm just saying. I'm just curious, So he makes it to the bridge. I don't want to think the boy jumped off. So maybe he meant foul play. on his way up this street somewhere with somebody and they took his phone. And they're the ones walking with the phone. Very, very interesting. But what's bothering me, if you go back to this video, because I'm just 1 minute and 34 seconds in, News Channel 5 is the source. Rewatch it for yourself in full screen. He is galloping on that sidewalk. He's not crossing a crosswalk. It's a whole sidewalk because you'll see the little parking lot on the other side of those beams. Why would you be running and you're drunk? I think maybe somebody said something to him wherever he was walking to and fro. And maybe he picked up speed out of fear. And then he slowed down. Now we got his phone stopping at the bridge. This is bizarre to me.
And I see like if we could see anything on the street, and none of us could.
Mackenzie McGuire says she was also out Friday night. Never saw Riley, but would have helped if she could have.
We could have definitely helped that night. We could have approached him. We could have called the police. We could have called an Uber.
All things Metro Police say you can do if you feel comfortable. If you don't, find a nearby police officer or security guard to help.
Thinking, oh, I'm a guy, nothing is gonna happen to me, or my friend will be fine, or whatever. And
Exactly.
I feel like with girls, it's a lot more. We know we need to stick together.
Yes,
I feel like
that's what they're saying.
That all needs to change because everyone needs to stick together.
Both she and Andrea Baugh from Nashville say staying in groups, a common practice among women, can be life-changing for anyone.
In the middle of having fun, you can put fun on hold to make sure that someone gets to where they need to go.
Nikki Hauser, News Channel 5.
Thank you so much, Nikki. By the way, the Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission also now stepping in, confirming that they will investigate whether Riley may have been overserved alcohol that night. Also,
Okay, was he overserved? We talked about that during the last live stream. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vault XL. You have just watched News Channel 5, the community speaking, African-American female speaking, Caucasian girl speaking about looking out for one another, what she would have done had she been there to see him inebriated. But we know this is the real world. People just don't render aid to people publicly drunk. They just don't. How many times have you been out on a city street, day or night, walking downtown, walking to the corner store, getting out to go in a store, restaurant, and somebody's outside drunk, whether it be a homeless person, random person? Do you stop and say, hey, do you need some help? Hey, can I help you to your bus stop or whatever? No, you don't. And you're talking about people out, probably also inebriated. Rarely will you have a drunk trying to help another drunk. I'm just saying. I wish this young man had a sat down somewhere. Because I just showed you footage of a bench sitting feet away from him near a utility pole. He did not have to keep walking. But if he was unaware of his faculties and just could not function to think, then it is what it is. But I personally, because I can only speak for myself, I cannot speak for Riley. If I felt so bad and so sick, I do believe I would have sat down. I would have sat down on the ground, or I would have sat down on that bench, whatever was first that I saw that I could sit down. If I felt like I was woozy, sick, headachy, about to throw up, whatever, I would have tried to sit down. Because I think he'd be visible right now had he just laid on the damn ground. Somebody would eventually call 911. Because as you see, the videos that they have shown you, there were people out. You're talking about 9:35 in the evening. So it's hustle and bustle in Nashville at this time. So people are out eating, drinking, sightseeing. Had he just laid on the damn ground, he'd be seen. If somebody came and pickpocketed him, he'd be alive. Because I'm not saying we don't have people that wouldn't rob you in daylight, nighttime, or rob you with eyewitnesses. But what I am saying is, with all those few people you see out, I doubt that they would have tried to, beat him up or whatever, because he was already incapacitated. It would have been no need in trying to beat him up. He's already inebriated. So if he passed out on the ground, the person decided they wanted to go by and rob him, pick through his pockets, somebody probably would have yelled, "Hey, what you doing?" They would have took off running. At least he'd be alive where he could be seen. You're now talking about walking blocks away from the damn bar up to the damn bridge, and this is where allegedly the ping stops. This is bad. Because you don't know if somebody had his phone going towards that direction. You don't know if somebody threw the phone in the water, threw it in the garbage, cut it off, broke it. If it was actually him carrying the phone that long distance, you have no idea. But allegedly in the content I played earlier, he was already 15 minutes into a walk in the wrong direction. This ain't good. This ain't good at all. Let's hear from the National Police Department. WKRN2 News is the source, everybody. Intermission.
So as you have seen today, the police department's urban search and rescue team, a highly trained group of individuals, have been searching the river bank and the river itself using a sonar-equipped boat. Thus far, we've found no sign of our missing person. Sergeant Bob Nielsen is a supervisor for our homicide cold case unit. That unit is responsible for investigating missing persons. And Sergeant Nielsen's going to go over with you now where the investigation stands at this point. Sergeant Nielsen.
As Don has already mentioned, we've been out here with our urban search and rescue people today. We've also utilized my cold case detectives on foot, traveling through the area. We've also used aviation, as well as our police boat, which, as he mentioned, has sonar. In the past couple of days, we've also involved the Office of Emergency Management. They have a boat with sonar, and they also have a drone. We've had a drone operator come out here. And we've also been utilizing our downtown partnership people and just trying to make any contacts of some of the citizens walking through here, including people that live in nearby homeless camps, and have been re-canvassing for video and reaching out to some of the bars and businesses down here, which I'd like to point out that they've all been extremely cooperative with us. And I'm open to any questions you have. So the last thing we had on the phone information was all of the pings that they did were based on exigency, so we were able to get that. Apple has been very helpful with us. We're still waiting on some phone record information. We're still waiting on that data. However, the last ping that they had was off a cell tower near Top Golf, which is on the other side of the river. However, the radius is about 2 miles, so it doesn't give us a direction to travel or more detailed information. We just know that that's the tower that it hit off of. We're still waiting on the phone records. We don't have the information quite back on the Apple Watch. I didn't know this. I'm not an Apple person, but apparently it has its own separate phone number. So that's one of the things that we're also waiting on is data from that as well. It doesn't tell us exactly why they went down. There could be a variable number of reasons of why both of those went down, from we don't know how long he had them charged to, turn them off. I mean, any number of things. But the data right now, the rest of it, his phone records and so forth, we're still waiting on. We know that the last ping off that tower was between 9:55 p.m. and 10 p.m. And I believe the last phone conversation or attempted conversation by one of his friends was also during that same time. That was the last time anybody had any kind of interaction with him on the phone. Thank you. With the camera footage that we have right now, the last known footage we have of Mr. Strain was coming in this direction, which would be towards us in the northerly direction. It caught him between the James Robertson Bridge and Woodland Street Bridge traveling this way. He was on foot. There was nobody else around him that we could see. We do have some cameras on the back of our Birch building, which is our courthouse here. However, it doesn't catch him crossing the path of that, and they would have caught anybody on either side of the Gay Street connector. So at this point, we're kind of back canvassing, if you will, going back possible route he may have taken for Broadway, up 3rd, down towards Church Street, down in this direction, to look for any other cameras we may have missed, as well as look for any other potential employees at some of these businesses.
Well, let's stop right here. So basically we have this guy walking, Mr. Strain, toward the bridge now? Because remember I asked that earlier. Was it him walking? with his phone or somebody else having the phone walking in that direction. So basically they have more cameras that have shown this man walking. This is so crazy because now you're getting farther away from the area where he originally was, which was the bar. And the bridge is, I'm sure a few blocks up. So this is crazy to me that he would not stop walking, especially being so inebriated or possibly drugged. Why would you keep walking? I don't understand this. I don't understand this at all.
That we can talk to that may not have been here the past few days, but might have been here Friday night. So we're still going back and looking for more cameras and more witnesses.
Well, Lolo, his phone is pinging up here. He's walking, they're saying. They've got cameras.
There's absolutely no indication whatsoever there's any kind of foul play or other crime involved. This is strictly a missing person investigation only, obviously.
So let's stop right there. If they've got cameras to show him walking up that street that sits behind this law official here talking, because there are a lot of movement behind him, and that's probably police officers on foot investigating, then what happened to where it stops past the bridge, the phone ping? Naturally, they're doing more research into his phone through Apple to get, I guess a more approximate time stamp of when the phone has stopped working or been turned off. But this is a lot of walking. That's the point I'm trying to make. So he obviously didn't make it in the water anywhere near there because he's walking. They have cameras obviously to show he was walking. So I'm just confused at why he would continue to walk. He mentions no foul play, but we're going to use deduction. If it's no foul play, then where is he and why hasn't he called someone to say he is okay? So let's use more detective work, let's say. If he was drugged and he got a hold of something very potent, not on his own, of course, let's just say he was drugged, could it be he does not know who he is? Passed out somewhere, woke up, came to, and he does not know that he is Riley Strain, Could that be what's going on here? That Riley is actually alive in the streets of Nashville, not knowing who he is. So have they checked the homeless camps to see if indeed somebody looks like him, is him, and or has anything on resembling his clothing? Because now the case is bizarre with them saying no foul play so far. So obviously they're just going on the video footage to show how far that phone went, which direction, cut on, cut off, in the river, thrown in the garbage can. You're not going to know. But could this be a case that the young man was drugged at some point during the night, or he took a pill, thought it was something, a Molly or ecstasy or whatever they call it, and it was something that actually would incapacitate him? Because people are known to experiment with drugs. We also have to ask that question. Is he known to use drugs, recreational drugs? Did somebody hand him something? He thought it was something else and he took it. It didn't mix well with the alcohol. How drunk was he when he got to that third bar, that Country Music Stars bar? See, you have to ask all those questions. You got to ask what actually happened in the bar, the conversation between the associates, the frat boys versus the bartender. Did he leave nicely? Did he try to use his phone but couldn't? Incapacitated on his phone for Uber or Lyft? Because if he drives, he may not be the type to even have the app on his phone. See, you don't know. But what's baffling is part of this video I showed you earlier, he's running. He's galloping on a street. He was not crossing. He was already on a sidewalk running. Why would he have been running?
Those things can always change. We just don't know. But right now, all of our resources are dedicated towards finding him. We're not conducting a criminal investigation of any type. So we're utilizing all of our detectives and our other resources, as we mentioned, in just looking for him. Because, like I said, there's no indication. There's
No
indication
criminal
there's a
investigation.
fight or argument on the street, as far as we know right now, or anybody in any establishment he may have visited. So we're just solely looking at this as a missing person case.
So right now it's missing persons. Some might say, well, come on, dude, use common sense. 6 days in. Where the hell would he be? He's not from there. He don't know the people there. Do we know if he has any mental disorder, schizophrenia? As I said, recreational drug use, popped a pill, things went awry. Popped a pill, drinking, not good mix. Or he just was blatantly drunk and became disoriented and just kept walking. Are we going to find out he got in a car with somebody? Somebody offered him a ride or pushed him in a car. So for this officer to say, well, it's not criminal at this point, we're just using deduction. More than likely he met with foul play with somebody, or he's out here walking around and does not know he's Riley Strain. I'm praying for his sake that he is out here disoriented and he doesn't know who he is, and he's just going from place to place. Just aimlessly out. Sleeping. But then you got to think about this. How's he eating? If he's alive right now and he's out here walking around, does he have access to a credit card, debit card, cash app card, cash on him, cell phone on him? Don't you think he would have looked at the phone and realized, well, I don't know who I am. I don't know where I am. Let me call one of these numbers on here. So you always got to ask the questions. If we're going to throw out a hypothesis, make it make sense. He's alive, aimlessly walking around, but he doesn't think to use his phone. That's in his pocket. Is the phone in his pocket? Probably dead at some point, depending on if he was fully charged or not on that Friday night. Got to ask that question. Was the phone fully charged? What time did it go down? Or did another human make it go down? What is the answer?
So we don't believe, based on the information we have so far from financial institution, that he utilized any kind of ride share. However, I know that I believe the family or someone has reached out asking if they may have caught him on video, because as we all know, a lot of your rideshare partners will have dash cams. And so people have reached out to them, hey, if you see anything, can you send it to us in the police department? But we have not seen any evidence that he would have used that. All the footage that we have so far, he was walking, so there's no indication that he got into a vehicle, whether a cab or a ride share.
Well, how would you know if he got into a ride share? Because if he got into the wrong car, they could have easily started punching him, hitting him, phone fell, dropped, turned off. You see that guy was walking behind him. I believe that's a pathway that possibly goes by the river. Did he walk on that pathway, or did he walk where this officer is standing? Because there was a guy walking behind him, looking into the camera. Obviously, that's probably a walking trail, possibly near the river. So did he walk where that guy went, or did he walk by this cop on this sidewalk? So many questions. What is the truth to where this guy is? Because I am very puzzled right now.
And then, of course, until we get his phone records back, we can't see if he utilized any one of those types of applications as well.
Brief intermission. Well, Lolo, if foul play has happened, somebody has his phone, but they've probably discarded it because phones can be tracked, and only a fool who has a place to sleep would let that phone be tracked to their house. You have to be an utter fool to keep that phone. We'll wait to see what happened to the phone. Did it get sold? Somebody still has it? Thrown away? Crushed? Broke? What? Lots of questions, no answers.
I don't. There was no real interaction between the two because that officer was dealing with that other situation.
Another guy walking. So this is obviously a popular place. I'm assuming where he's walking.
So
It's to the river.
basically, We've been utilizing our urban search and rescue people as well as our police boat. They've gone up and down the bank. They've made multiple sweeps. Urban search and rescue has checked several areas, including any dilapidated buildings, as well as there's a storm drain that people will use sometimes. So they've been doing that, as well as we've had our cold case detectives actually walking the Greenway all the way up towards Jefferson Street, because there's a lot of residential new buildings up there that you can't get to by vehicle. You can get to the buildings, but you can't get behind them. We're trying to utilize everybody on foot, on boat. We've utilized aviation. Office of Emergency Management has come out the past couple of days, a couple of times, both with boat, with sonar, as well as with their drone. And then also, I don't know if many of you are familiar with the Cajun Navy, United Cajun Navy. There's a couple different organizations from Louisiana, but they also have members in other states, including Tennessee. They've also come up here to assist us with an airboat and some of their resources from private organizations to also assist in the search for Riley. It's just a natural progression. You know, in a missing persons case, people go missing for various reasons. Some are voluntary, some are not. Some could be due to a medical incident. Right now, we have no idea what happened with this gentleman. We don't believe that there's any crime involved, however. So all of our resources right now are dedicated towards locating him. And then once we find him, to try to see if there's any kind of, you know, medical attention, something that he may need. And obviously we're looking for a positive outcome. And so, but we're open to all the information that we get. We're still utilizing our Crime Stoppers. A lot of people think that that's just for crimes, you know, homicides, robberies, so forth. But we've also utilized that for people calling in, and I've been getting Crime Stoppers tips every single day regarding possible sightings or any information that people think that they have. I mean,
let's interject. Crime Stoppers is for all types of situations, circumstances, crimes, robberies, missing people. How many tips have they gotten in pertaining to Riley Strain? What type of tips? How useful have they been? What will the data show? I'm very curious. The data on his phone. As I brought you information earlier, these roommates, these frat boys say something about a key was found. What kind of key? Key to his car? Hotel key? Make it make sense. Did he make it back to the hotel? Why is the hotel in proximity to the bridge? How about that? How about telling us where the hell the tempo is in relation to the bridge? Because I got a feeling they're not near one another.
You name it, people call us, we're checking it out. We've all contact us, either me directly by email, my lead detective, or our public information office, our social media, you know, Facebook, Instagram.
I don't know, they didn't say.
So we're utilizing absolutely every resource we can possibly think of at this point. There's no reason to believe that he's been a victim of a crime, and I can't possibly think of any other resource we could utilize that we haven't used or are using right now. Yeah, he's been entered into NCIC, which is very common. So when we do a missing person report, when that's entered into NCIC, and as we follow that information, we push it out to some of our partner, like, you know, Sumner County, Cheatham County, you know, THB and so forth. They usually get that information. Our fusion centers tend to push a lot of that information out as well. So that information has pretty much been just. Yes, ma'am.
Where was he last seen on cameras? What she's asking. Intermission. Well, I'm assuming they got cameras right through that little area where he's standing. As you saw behind him, people are walking on that trail. So there's a trail behind where the cop is standing, where that white car sits. People are walking. That must be a trail that leads by the river, I'm assuming.
That's true. So actually back in this direction, this first bridge is James Robertson Parkway. The next bridge is Woodland Street. He was last seen between those two bridges traveling in this direction. And that's the last footage that we have. I think it was around 9:52, 9:53, somewhere in that range. There's actually a large homeless encampment that's down the riverbank. And we actually made contact
So I guess
with people today.
Back that way is where the bridge is, I guess.
That area, you know, because that's treated like a domicile where some of them are. So they've been very helpful as well. And
so where those young people are walking towards, that obviously, I guess the direction going towards the bridge. I kept thinking it was going the way where he was standing. Guess not. But anywho, he's pointing in that direction behind him, which means the bridge is obviously in that direction, and there's a homeless camp there. They have been helpful. So hopefully, if you're saying they've been helpful, you all went by with his photograph and looked at everybody walking, talking, sleeping, or in that camp. Have they tried other homeless camps in the area? Have they gone past the bridge to look for him? Not just downtown and in this area here, from the bar to where they're standing now. Have they gone past the bridge to look for him? See if there are any other camps nearby. I don't know. All I know is it don't look good.
so we're just utilizing everybody we can talk to in this area, but that's the last known area. So what they told you is accurate. They just didn't know that the homeless camp was down there. Correct. And as I mentioned to them, there are cameras on the back of the Birch building, but they would have caught anybody on either side of the street, but there's nothing to indicate he came this way. So we also utilize the camera. There's a pole camera right there as well, and it doesn't show him in this direction. So in the
I'm confused
that he could have possibly have doubled back in the other camera that we last saw him on.
Oh, Lord.
Both, actually all detectives that we have out on this, as well as the security people that watch the parking garage, and the families themselves. I mean, we've had 3 different groups literally go through that parking garage for the past 2 days, just in case they missed an open door, the safety netting, in case somebody somehow went over the side. They checked everything that they can over there, and security was checking again for us today, just because there's always that possibility the camera didn't catch him going back across, and maybe he went back up to James Robertson through that parking garage, as well as the stairs on the outside of the parking garage.
And that's even worse. Stairs are dangerous. I'm kind of confused
Not
at
that we've seen on video.
What's going on.
I know some people that have called in have thought there was, but we haven't seen any evidence of that. I was told today that there was a homeless gentleman that may have actually seen him, like close proximity, like from me to you. So we're actually trying to find that individual right now to see if he can provide us more information, but we haven't been able to find him so far. Yes, ma'am.
Great. Homeless people move around.
It's just like when we have a homicide, we try to have one point of contact, whether it's one parent, 2 parents, an aunt, whoever is kind of the spokesperson for the family, just because the nature of the investigation can be so cumbersome that it's hard for us to answer multiple questions. Like if there's 15 of you out here right now, realistically, we may not have the time to talk to actual 15 individual people, right? That's why we have public information officers or
What a mess.
doing
What a mess.
a briefing on it. So usually what we'll do, and as I've spoken to mom and dad today, was everything will go through them. So they have multiple ways to contact me. Any questions they have, even from other family, I've asked them to direct it to mom and dad, let mom and dad contact us, because otherwise it gets to be the telephone game, and then misinformation gets out there, and in this case, it's a missing person. But if it was a homicide, then we risk the chance of affecting the integrity of that case. And obviously, we don't want to put everything out in a homicide. In this case, we're putting everything out because it's a missing person. But it still helps to have just one point of contact, just because everybody wants to know, but they also have to understand that for us to do our job effectively, we're utilizing literally everybody that we have that we can at the moment. And so if I have like 5 detectives here today, and they're all handling phone calls, well, then I don't have any detectives out here looking for this gentleman. So that's why it's easier just to have 1 or 2 points of contact. And 9 times out of 10, the families are extremely understanding, extremely cooperative, and they totally understand where we're coming from. And we've always had a good exchange with that. Right now, as far as I know, it's just ours, and then some of the local groups, like I said, the Cajun Navy. I just was contacted yesterday by somebody, I think he works a task force with the. There's not really been a need for other resources based on everything we have between USAR, all the equipment, as well as the Office of Emergency Management. So I guess you can count them as an outside source, but I don't really, because they work hand in hand with us on so many other incidents. But if it goes to a point where we think we need additional help, whether it's state or federal, we have no problem immediately contacting them and requesting that assistance. Pretty much recanvassing for video, looking for any other people that we can talk to, pretty much. Reaching out to other officers. A lot of our officers in patrol have really good rapport with the people in the communities, neighborhoods that they work. And so a lot of them get to know a lot of the homeless population. So if we say, hey, we're looking for John Doe, because he may have, there's some amazing patrol officers that we have that know everybody in their area, and they can help us find that. So that's one of the things we'll be utilizing. And a lot of it now at this point is just filtering all the information. As I said, we've been getting just dozens of Crime Stoppers tips every day, pretty much since this has started. And so it takes time to go through all of those, scrutinize that information, make certain that, there could be a viable lead. A lot of them, as you can imagine, is just frivolous information, and I'll leave it at that. So you have to kind of filter that to know what you need to spend time on. Because just like with the Christmas Day bombing, we got all kinds of crazy things that came into us. So you have to know what to prioritize. That's a good thing, too, about having as many detectives as we have. Because with cold case, we're all in the same office as homicide, and homicide alone has 28 detectives, plus I have 7. So that's a lot of people that, if we need that help, they're there. Those other people that'll help us. And that's just for going through the Crime Stoppers tips.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody. I think that's about it. Hold on. I think they had one more question.
My first name is Robert, Robert, and my last name is Nielsen, Nielsen. I'm a sergeant with the cold case. Yes, sir.
Sergeant with the cold case. All righty then. We'll go back. News Nation has something up. I may play that here in a second. 1 minute, I'm commenting on a video that I want to show you too. Tell me your thoughts. Because this is baffling. Very baffling. One moment, everybody. Let's read some of the comments on this case. What type of questions? What type of questions you got, T? You're right. Doesn't matter how old you are. See, the what people don't understand, I don't know why people act like you're immune from getting hurt. It doesn't matter if you live in a safe neighborhood, you're hanging with your friends, you think you know people. You don't know people. Every day, there's a story. If you look at this channel I've got on here on my screen, it's got my history of videos I have uploaded and watched. Damn near all the videos are true crime stories, okay? The girl in the next box, to your right, that 48 hours, she's alive because she survived her injuries from being shot by her ex-baby daddy husband's lover, somebody he was using and manipulating, and she stupidly listened to stuff he was saying to her about the woman abusing the child, and she took it upon herself to try to murder the woman. Broad daylight. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. You don't know people. The world is filled with evil people. They don't mind getting you lost, getting you hurt. The Queen is commenting under a video I'm going to show you here on the News 5. John Smith says, people take note, cover your own butt. You have very few friends in this life. My daddy once told me that if you have one or two true friends in a lifetime, you should consider yourself lucky. Take care of yourself and don't rely on casual acquaintances to do it for you. He had 15 replies. Renee says his friends suck. Blessing said they went to sleep and worried about him the following morning. They don't sound like friends to me. Someone else says the way he acted so differently after he fell and hit that pole with his head is very concerning. Praying for this young man and his family. That's a very good point. When I show you the next video, we're going to recap him falling down. He was running and then he fell. Maybe he did hit his head on the pole because he's got his head hanging down on the next part of the videos are showing, you know, and maybe he hurt his head. So now are we talking about when he fell, he hit his head on the concrete or on that pole, or somebody thinks he may have hit his head? Are we now talking about he has a head injury, a bump, or bleeding, and he's passed out, or bleeding, or bled to death? See, we don't know. But we're going to show you that here in a minute. Somebody says the odds of finding the guy alive are about slim to none. Interesting. He's there with an entire fraternity and not one single person stayed with him. These friends waited until they were sober to report a missing person. Get real. Yeah, that's what they did. None of his friends went with him. That's effed up. They thought he made it back to the hotel. Wow. Okay. Let's see who replied to that. Somebody said too busy stuck in their touchscreen trance to notice anything. Next person says, that bar is despicable. I've worked in bars, and if a friend didn't volunteer to escort him or any lone drunk, I would have made them all leave. They are very culpable in this tragedy. Well, the bartender can't tell somebody, go get your friend. Walk your friend out. Call your friend an Uber. They're a bartender. They're not there to babysit you. They're not there to coddle you. They have a job to do. They're barely living and making it. And that's where you have to ask yourself, who is responsible for Riley Strain? Because he is a grown man. He has to be aware of his faculties. He has to be aware of his drink tolerance. You got to know to not take any type of drugs or pills from anybody because we really don't know what happened that night. You have to be responsible for yourself. That's just the way it is. You're hoping that people will look out for you, whether you're alone or not. But the world is not designed like that. He is not the first person to be drunk and end up missing, and he won't be the last. This is why you have to be careful traveling alone, going to strange places that you don't know, and even going with people you think you know, because look at this case. This is your worst case scenario of somebody going somewhere with people he allegedly knows, and now he's missing. And they all made it back to the hotel. He didn't. And that's another thing. If he made it back to the hotel, what happened there? Because I need to know more about this missing key, found key business. What type of key are we talking about? Did he make it back to the hotel? Did he get a ride back? Something happened at the hotel. Then you have to ask yourself, once again, as I said before, did you ask, did he make it back? Did they talk to the staff when they walked in? Hey, did our friend check back in? We're looking for him. He left. He got kicked out. Woo, woo, woo. Or did they start asking questions when they got up? Did anybody call his phone when they left the bar? Number one. Did somebody talk to front desk? Number two, when they got back. Did somebody knock on his door? Did somebody have access to his door? Was he rooming alone? Bingo card. Stay woke, everybody. Was he in a hotel room by himself? Because wouldn't it make sense for guys to double up in a hotel room? Get a room with double beds? Wouldn't you have booked your room in advance? Stay woke. I ask all the questions because people are going to ask. Why are you calling afternoon about your missing friend? You knew he was missing at some point when you got back to the hotel, I would assume. Unless you waited till afternoon to call. Room check. That's another thing. Is that when they found out he wasn't there? It's when the person knocked on the door for room service, room check. Check, please. Need to be out of the room, sir. Need to be out of the room, sir. His luggage is still there. We don't hear anything about the hotel staff, what was left behind in his room, luggage in the room. Is that where they found the key, in his room? How many keys did he get for his stay there at the hotel? See, 1,000 questions you can ask. Let's finish reading some of these comments. Somebody says the kid looks blasted in the video. Definitely a bad sign. Hope he didn't fall into foul play. Let's hear the responses. Not friends, just brats. Woo, Lordy. Somebody says, I think he fell into the river. That's where he was headed. Somebody said he was probably drugged. Somebody else says in a different video, you see him walk into a pole, lay on the ground for about 30 seconds and then get up. That's when he starts stumbling, not before. Okay. And that was my point. The video I'm about to show you. They're showing you clips early on, but the video I'm going to show you shows the fall, get up, and that's when you see him stumbling. So maybe he was just walking along, fell, hit his head, got up, started stumbling, and he looks more drunk to us because now he has a head injury. Somebody says, drugged by who? His friends, the bartender, a possible girl who is perhaps flirting with him. Woo. Somebody says, yes, like the guys in Austin, Texas. So that's the city I was talking about, where men were being set up, leaving bars to get in the ride, get an Uber, Lyft ride with some women, black women who drugged them and then robbed them. Could this be the case? But I think he walked too far for somebody to have set him up from the bar, because they would have wanted to try to get with him as soon as he left out of the bar, not 15 minutes or so walking. That seems a bit much. Somebody says where he was running. I didn't see stumbling. He likely was under the influence, but he also probably suffered a concussion when he ran into the pole. Some seemed to be running pretty straight with his head down and clocked that pole really hard. Then we see the only videos of him stumbling badly. If there was a video of him stumbling before hitting the pole, it sure wasn't in this video we just watch. And then somebody did say, not friends, just frat brats. Somebody says he's hit his head, stumbling after he gets up, that he has his hand up to his head and looks at his hand. He has hurt his head. Someone needs to find him fast. One reply from that. He was also intoxicated. Yes, we know that. Did he hit his head? Sweet Jesus, what are we talking about? Oh, Lordy. They're there for a conference.
Where is Riley Strain? The 22-year-old visiting Nashville last weekend for a formal remains missing tonight. Thanks for joining us here at 6, everyone. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Hunter Hoagland. His friends last saw him after he was asked to leave Luke Bryan's bar on Broadway. This story has caught the attention of people all across the country, and Rory with a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah, so many. We know so many of you care about this, and like us, you're hoping for a positive outcome. News Channel 5's Chris Davis sharing the latest details that we've uncovered.
Okay, he falls. He might have hit his head.
Searched low along the riverbank and put his picture high up on billboards, but there's still no sign of college student Riley Strain.
It's a very sad situation. I wouldn't wish it upon anybody.
Music City Wine and Spirits heard about the missing 22-year-old, but didn't think about their surveillance cameras until a construction worker and then Riley's own mother asked them to check.
We were able to go back on the cameras at that time and look at the picture more clear and see that it was the kid that was missing.
Sure enough, one angle shows Riley stumbling.
So right there, you see a tall black pole and another on top of a cylinder block, and on the other side of that cylinder block is obviously another tall pole. Perhaps where his head is laying, because we can't see, because he's on the other side. He hit his head either on that white pole or the cylinder block or the concrete. Which one could it have been?
Collide with a pole on Church Street.
Okay.
Stay on the ground for a moment.
Yes.
Then stand back up. Their second angle shows him struggling to continue down Church Street. Then, where Church turns into Gay Street at the river, a Metro Police camera shows Riley looking around for a moment before continuing towards the river.
Usually, someone is with that person to help them.
Sharif says working in the heart of downtown, he's used to seeing people struggling to walk down the street. There's just one key difference.
They usually have someone with them to guide them, call them an Uber, take them to the hotel. Not just let him be.
Saturday afternoon, about 16 hours after Riley was last seen, some of his friends came here to the Central Precinct hoping to report him missing. When they couldn't get into the lobby, that's when they called 911.
Okay. What is his name?
Wait. Say what? When they couldn't get in the lobby? What do you mean?
To report him missing. When they couldn't get into the lobby, that's when they called him.
What the hell's going on here? What do you mean you couldn't get into the lobby? Why couldn't you get into the lobby? The lobby is the lobby. That's not the hotel room. Somebody help the queen understand what the hell they're talking about here. Because I'm confused. Why couldn't you get into the lobby of the hotel? The lobby is free to anybody walking in. The doors usually are magnetic doors. Cheaper hotels have swing door opens. Stay woke, everybody. What do you mean you couldn't get into the lobby? And that's when you're going to call 911. Something's off. Let's play it again, because it's some bullshit here. Hold on. Well, now my remote's acting out.
Someone with them to guide them, call them an Uber, take them to the hotel.
Oh, the police station? Oh, okay. I was going to say the lobby to the hotel.
Afternoon, about
I'm sorry.
16 hours after Riley was last seen, some of his friends came here to the Central Precinct hoping to report him into the lobby. That's when they called 911.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
What's his name? His name is Riley Strain. Okay, and what color clothing was he last seen wearing? Wearing jeans, boots, and a half black shirt, half brown, light brown.
So what took so long? According to Riley's family, his fraternity brothers initially thought Riley made it back to their hotel. The next morning, they started searching and stopped by the Davidson County Sheriff's Office first before being redirected to Metro Police.
Well, I hope we find him. I hope he's okay.
In the meantime, the searches low and high will continue. Chris Davis, News Channel 5.
Oh, we hope they find him, Chris. Thank you. We've got another new development tonight as well. The Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission has just launched an investigation. They are now looking into whether or not bartenders at Luke Bryan's bar on Broadway served the 22-year-old.
Well, was he overserved? That's the question that is going to be on the chopping board pertaining to Mr. Strain. Lord, what a mess. I'm going to go over here to my channel. Oh, man. This is bad. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Vault XL. Listening to live number 3. I don't know where this is going, quite frankly. I have no idea. This is, sorry about that oversight. For some reason, I thought they were saying the hotel lobby. Sometimes I hear better when I'm afar from the TV instead of right up on the television. But anywho, get those thumbs up to this video, this live stream. Thank you for joining me. You are now listening to live number 3 pertaining to Riley Strain. I did a live about him earlier, 2 lives ago, and now I came back because a press conference was given by the police department. You heard that sergeant speaking. I've also showed you content of him falling. Obviously, he hit his head perhaps on a pole. Then he's head down, disoriented, inebriated. So there are lots of questions here. What happened to this young man? I don't know. I haven't the foggiest. I haven't the foggiest idea what the hell is going on or what the hell we're listening to. All I know is this is a bad situation. And you're going to wonder all types of things depending on your mindset and where you come from and how you were reared in life. You'll probably think of all kind of crazy things that could have went on with this young man. But if he didn't know anybody in town, he's not from there. He's obviously drunk in the video. You just use deduction. Something bad happened to him. What happened, I don't know. But what I don't understand is why in the world he would continue walking. This is what's baffling to me. I mean, I can't understand it. I just can't understand why in the world he would not just stop walking. 1 minute you're running on the sidewalk, which makes no sense. Then you fall, possibly hit your head, probably didn't feel good. God forbid, he might have a bump or contusion or slightly bleeding. Could have went somewhere and bled out. Could have internal bleeding. See, you don't know. This is why he should have sat down. He should have sat down. In the one video I showed you where he's crossing the street, there is a bench there. So I don't understand why he didn't sit down. Thank you, T. That's the part I don't get. There's a bench, green bench, sitting feet away from him when he crosses the street. And he's looking around and everything. Why didn't he sit down? I'm just baffled right now because I can't see you're just going to keep going, and you see you're not feeling well. I don't understand. Hagen, stop. Yes, we've got cases. Summerwell still, this Rogers kid missing. And that's a little ways up from Nashville, Hendersonville. And then we have this case here of a guy from Missouri here on a business trip and now gone. Nashville is 3 hours from the Queen. I don't know. Billboards are up. You saw that in the beginning of this live stream. Billboards are up 6 days in. Somebody's got some mad paper in Nashville or somewhere in between to put up those billboards. Crime Stoppers is involved. If you've got a viable tip, not gossip, not rumor, not psychic babble, please call the Nashville Police Department and the Crime Stoppers if you have information to the whereabouts of Mr. Riley Strain. What is going to become of this case? What actually happened in that bar? Why didn't somebody walk him out? Why didn't somebody call him an Uber or a Lyft? Why didn't somebody leave with him? Obvious reasons. They didn't want to leave. That's it. And you can't make somebody leave. Bartender can't make you leave. What's going to be now the responsibility of the bartender? The bar itself, the owner. Owned by a famous person. Will they now sue him? Do you understand what I'm saying? Will his family sue the bar? Will we find out he was overserved? Will they have on camera how many times they served him drinks? Will it show him walking in the bar already inebriated? Bingo card. Because now the Alcohol Commission is involved. So imagine he walked in the bar already toe up, because I mentioned that earlier. Are we talking about a guy who already had too many drinks before he got to this last bar? And then you piled it on, saw he was drunk, but then there was a point to where he couldn't stand up perhaps, and then you said, okay, I ain't making him no more drinks. Allegedly, he left out fine, cohesive, no disruptions, no problems. What is going on? What happened in the bar? Was he already drinking when he got to the bar? Drunk, rather. Drank a few more drinks. So that's what we need to know. What did he drink at the other bars? How many bars did they attend? Was he already inebriated at those other bars? Bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4, what are we saying? He complied. They asked him to leave. So is that their policy? I meant to ask that during the last live stream. When they see that you can no longer stand up, sit up, is that the policy is to ask you to remove yourself from the bar? Whether you came there with Pookie Ray, a group of people, you have to leave. Is that their policy? We see that you are inebriated. You cannot stand up. You cannot form words. You have to remove yourself. Is that their policy? Because it might be interesting if we find out that is their policy. You can't stay in the bar. You can't drink. You can't linger. You can't sit around. You have to remove yourself. Yes, we've mentioned that. Could he have been drugged? Possibly. But they said they were at many bars. So we don't know if they were at 2 bars, 3 bars. The mother even said that they were out bar hopping when she talked to him. They texted back and forth through the night. So I'm assuming even he was drunk. He was still texting his mother, sending pictures, letting her know he's having a good time. He gets to this last bar. Now he's inebriated and asked to leave. I want to hear the conversation of what and whom said what. His response. I want to hear the responses of the other guys. I want to hear what they said. I ain't going. I ain't getting up. I don't feel like leaving. I don't feel like walking you back. I don't feel like riding back, because that's what they would have told themselves. Oh, now we got to pay for an Uber to take him back. Now I got to pay for an Uber back from the hotel. Hell no, they didn't want to get up. Hell no, they didn't want to get up. Because they already knew if we get up from this bar, we might as well be done for the evening. Because we'd have to get him back to Tempo, the hotel, make sure he got to the room without getting robbed in the hotel, because they rob you in hotels now, and then go back out and go back bar hopping. And it's interesting that all those guys made it back to their hotel safely, allegedly, except for this one 6'6", 6'7" individual. 160 pounds. Obviously, he can't hold no liquor, but then we don't know how much he actually drank either. This is baffling. This is why you don't drink to the point where you can't walk, can't talk, ask to leave a place. Because I don't really know what was said in the bar. And like I said, I don't know their protocol. Their protocol may be, you can't function, you got to get out. Doesn't matter if you came with somebody or not. You can't stay here. And naturally, they can't leave you in the bar drunk, because there's a propensity that you go somewhere and get somebody to go get you another drink. And then they would be liable for feeding you more alcohol. So was he already legally drunk when he walked in? If so, how many more drinks did he drink once he got there? What was the status of the other guys? Did they end up getting plastered, leaving this bar? But yet, they all made it back. Did he have a roommate? Because let me tell you what's going to be jacked up. And please listen to me carefully. What's going to be jacked up is if Riley shared a room with somebody. Ding, ding, ding. Did you hear that? Riley had a roommate in that hotel. So I'm going to say this to the roommates, frat mates, or whatever you want to call yourselves. You better hope to God that young man had a room by himself. Let me say it again. You better hope he had a room by his damn self. Because now you're going to have to explain to his parents and law officials why, one, you didn't walk him out, didn't leave with him, didn't make sure he made it home, came back to the hotel, you roomed with him, and you didn't call 911 when you realized he wasn't in that damn room. Shut your mouth. How about that? Because you know damn well it's cheaper to get a room with double beds instead of each guy getting his own damn room. Checkmate. And that's exactly what you're going to want to do is to save money. You're going to want to save money. And we know a lot of guys are cheap. Now, the only ones I can see wanting his own room is the fella that think he might get lucky. Might get him a little kitty cat on his trip. You understand? So now let's ask that question. How many guys went on the trip? How did they get to the bars? Uber, walked, public transportation? Did they each have their own individual hotel room? If not, who roomed with whom? Will we later find out Riley had a bunkmate and they gave 2 fucks about him not being in that damn room when they returned? That's going to be the topper. Now, what is this business about a key found? That's strange to me. That's what made me think somebody had a room with each other. You don't see who like what? What are you talking about, Lo? You don't see the man like what? What do you mean? Hello? You don't see the man like what? Will we find out Riley roomed with somebody and they never called 911 until later in the afternoon? Because that's going to be baffling. Now you got to ask about his belongings, his things. Because he wasn't there to check himself out of the hotel. You have to check yourself out. Hello? When did their flight leave? Or did they drive a car, van, bus down there? Oh, God, Lolo. He's still a guy, honey. A man's a man, honey. Don't think because he looks like he's tall and lanky, he don't like sex. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's going to be jacked up if we find out he roomed with one of the guys and they didn't even call the police. They didn't talk to the front desk. They just went on in the room, realized he wasn't there, and then went on to bed. And then waited till the next morning, once everybody was, had to check out, start calling everybody, hey, you up, calling his phone, no answer. Only having his own room. Well, don't worry about it, but I'm just saying, some guys want their own room because they want their own privacy. They might want to entertain. They might have a little chickadee in that town. So that's why I ask all the questions, because you don't know what hasn't been revealed. That's why you ask all the questions. That's what I do. Yeah. Well, I will when I feel like it, honey. The point is, what is the 411? Where is this young man? As I said before, it's noble that these people bought billboards, put them up. But it kind of took me aback, only because I know that a lot of people have gone missing in Tennessee and other jurisdictions, and they didn't get a billboard. They didn't get a billboard. And you've got people who've been missing for years, and they've never gotten a billboard. And I think you all know that what I'm saying is the truth. There are missing people all over the United States, and they didn't get a billboard in less than a week. And I'm not saying that what was done as a billboard was wrong for Riley. I'm just speaking in general terms. There are a lot of missing people who have never gotten a billboard. This boy's got a billboard in less than 6 days. So he was doing pretty damn good to be a missing person in a city that he is not familiar with or has friends or family in and already has a billboard up. And like I said, it was noble of these people, whomever they are, to pay for the billboards. So now let's ask this question. How many billboards are put up? Thank you, T. How many billboards have been put up on his behalf? How many tips have come into Crime Stoppers? Are any of them legit and seem viable to finding him? will there be a reward? I meant to ask that earlier. Will there be a reward, separate reward than what Crime Stoppers has up? Crime Stoppers naturally wants your tips, but does Crime Stoppers have a reward up, and will there be a separate reward? Those are my questions. Yeah, anytime you go live, why I stream through the phone, I'm learning this is when you get all the trolls. If I do it through the StreamYard, hardly nobody even comes in the chat to even watch the video. It's the strangest phenomenon. That's why I tell you these apps are rigged, and they know exactly what you're doing, because you can't make that make any sense. Because somebody says, oh, it's because more people can see you live. Okay, so what's the difference between me streaming from my phone and streaming on the computer? I go in the computer and do it through the YouTube app. Don't get this many people sometimes. And then there's times I do it through the StreamYard. So I'm trying to understand what's the difference. Help me understand. Anywho, this is live number 3 pertaining to Riley Strain, 22 years of age, missing from Missouri. He went to the University of Missouri, Mizzou. He's missing. He went to Nashville over the weekend, last weekend, with some fraternity brothers. I do not know how close he was to these guys. I'm assuming he's known some of them for a few years as being a student. He's supposed to graduate in May with a business finance degree. Finance business degree. Has he already applied for jobs somewhere in the United States? I haven't heard that. But this is a depressing situation. Okay? A very depressing situation. Because he went there out of town to take care of some business, enjoy himself, and now he's missing. And as you heard the sergeant say, they do not suspect foul play at the moment. They don't have any information to say that it's foul play. They have him walking, I guess, up toward a bridge, and then he's out of the camera, phone pinging up that way, I'm assuming, and now there's nothing. So I don't know what's going on with this case. Hello, JR. Good. Thank you so much for joining us, sweetie. Let me see this child. Lord have mercy. All right, Hagen has sent me information from somebody who, I don't know why it's not coming up, but anyway, who went to this bar and was roofied. Let's read what she has to say. Daily Dot is the source, everybody. I seriously thought I was dying. A woman said she was roofied at Luke Bryan's bar. This was uploaded July 30th, 2023. Florida-based hairstylist Hallie Elliott claims that she was slipped a date rape drug at a popular Nashville bar owned by prominent country music star. This was last summer, everybody. Elliott writes a text overlay of her video. Be safe, girlies. She says, girlies was just roofied at Luke Bryan's bar. What's more, Elliott at Hallie Elliott claimed that upon receiving medical attention, local healthcare professionals said they came across more alleged roofie encounters from guests who frequented this particular bar than any other spot in Nashville. The establishment that she's referring to is Luke's 32 Bridge, located on 301 Broadway in Nashville, Tennessee. The country music star created the business in association with TC Restaurant Group, according to Eater, which also runs FGL House and Jason Aldean's Kitchen and Rooftop Bar, which is also located in Nashville. So you see, there are many people who have businesses, and they have other people who run the business for them, manage it, so on and so forth. So that's what you have here. Is it's an association with TC Restaurant Group. So they obviously manage restaurants. The city has been a long time bona fide music and party destination, and chances are you've seen jokes on social media about immediately breaking up with your significant other if they decide to go to Nashville without you. The implication is they are most likely going to engage in some type of sexual escapade with a stranger behind your back. Well, maybe this is the new Vegas, since everybody's moving here any damn way. So maybe Nashville's the new Vegas, the southern version. But judging from Elliot's TikTok, it seems that folks with nefarious intentions also see the city as an opportunity to drug and sexually assault those looking for a good time. She adds in her video that she was told by the doctor, Luke Bryan's bar is the most #1 bar they had girls my age come in roofied. The experience, according to TikTok users, sounds horrible. I seriously thought I was dying, but alive now, she wrote. And you can't go into that video because it says it's now unavailable. I can't get access to TikTok anyway, so don't ask. According to the Drug Enforcement Association, roofie is the street term for a type of depressant known as Rohypnol, which is the brand name for pharmaceutical flunitrazepam, how do you pronounce this? Flunitrazepam, whatever. A type of benzodiazepam. The government agency adds that the drug has never been approved for uses from the FDA in the United States and is commonly used to treat instances of acute insomnia. Very interesting. Like most depressants, mixed Rohypnol with alcohol is a dangerous combination which more than likely contributed to the sensation of Elliot feeling as if she was dying. According to Nashville Scene, the honky-tonk town has a serious roofie problem, but these cases are difficult to prove and therefore prosecute. This is because individuals will probably not be able to secure footage and receive reliable eyewitness testimonies that someone was trying to spike their drink, like this one TikToker managed to capture by pure happenstance. Nashville Scene highlighted a story from a fiddle player who lost 2 hours of memory after reportedly being drugged by someone she suspects was hoping to steal her equipment and tip money. Thankfully, an employee at the bar ensured that she was brought home safely and that her belongings were looked after as a crowd gathered around her when she collapsed from the drug. Now, that's weird. Commenters who replied to Elliot's video stated they had similar experiences while partying in Nashville. One user said she was roofied while she was out with her husband and suspected that it was an employee of the spot they were at. And that's crazy. How are you going to roofie somebody and they're with somebody else? That makes no sense. Some of these people are probably just putting shit in people's drinks just to see them pass out, just out of spite. They're not trying to even have sex with them because that doesn't make any sense. You're with your man, and who has access to your drink to roofie you but the bartender? That's crazy. Happened to me in Nash, and my husband was with me, they wrote. Definitely think it was the bartender. Another person who said that they've lived in Nashville all their lives had recommendations as to how to enjoy the nightlife when you're out and about, avoiding drinks from folks, pre-gaming before you get to bars, and keeping a watchful eye on bartenders are part of the course for staying safe. Another woman who responded to Elliot's video said that while she was throwing a bachelorette celebration in Nashville, both she and her bridesmaids were all roofied. The Daily Dot has reached out to Elliot via TikTok comment and Luke's 32 Bridge via email. Jack Allman is a freelance journalist that wrote this piece for the Daily Dot. If you are curious to where this information has come from, this is a young lady originally who is in this TikTok situation. This content was uploaded last July of 2023. She said, just to be told by the doctor, Luke Bryan's bar is the most #1 bar they've had girls my age come in roofied. Luke's 32. Food and drinks, Nashville, Tennessee. What in the hell is going on here? Thank you, Ms. Hagan, for that content. So now we have information that women have been roofied from this bar and possibly other bars. So far for no public announcement. Somebody says, I was a bartender for years, and trust me, people will drink anything you put in the cup. I've seen it all. Well, JR, thank you for telling us that. But what is going to be baffling is, why would a bartender want to roofie somebody? They would have to do it because they're nasty, they're spiteful, they don't like their job. They're not getting paid. They don't like the tips. Is that what we're talking about? Roofing for tips? You didn't give me a good tip, so I'll put something in your drink. And most bars have cameras, so how would they be able to put it in the drink? Because the places I've gone, especially downtown Knoxville, Old City, oh, that bar downtown, because it's got different levels, different types of music in each part of the bar, they have cameras behind the bar. So I'm trying to understand who is going to risk getting fired and go to jail by putting something in somebody's mixed drink, the bartender especially. And I agree with you, JR. Some people will drink anybody's cup, because some people will say, hey, girl, try this drink they made, and you sip from the cup. Very dangerous doing that as well. Already in the bottle. So how would it already be in the bottle? So then you're saying it's coming from the manufacturer of roofie. I'm going to say this. You don't know people. Okay? You might get an evil-ass bartender that just wants to see motherfuckers fall out. But what they don't get is this. And let me say this to any bartender that's on the grift, the grind, doing this evil nurse type bullshit. In the end, you're going to be the motherfucking one locked up. Let me say it again. The bar will get cited, the bar will close, and your ass going to be the one in jail. Because you're the one making the damn drinks. So if you're stupid enough to roofie somebody, it's all going to come back to you. Because if they can pinpoint, you're the one that gave me the drink all night, then who the hell you think they're getting ready to come for if that's the only bar Susie Mae was in, the only bar Susie Mae went to? You're the one making Susie Mae's drink. No other bartender made Susie Mae's drink. How are you going to explain how her drink got spiked? Just saying. More than likely, it ain't going to take but one drink to get her to fall down any damn way. Second scenario. We got a grimy bartender in cahoots with a grifter in the venue. Bartender spikes the drink. You're over here being a nice girl or guy, pretending to aid help if you see her leaving with a friend or friends. You offer a ride, such as a rideshare driver. Hi, I work for Lyft, I work for Uber. They say, oh, great, my friend's not feeling well. Sure, my car's right around here. Say, well, then you put them in the car and you've got water that's tainted. This is what the fuck they were doing in Austin. You had one of the girls' water, now she's roofing the damn again. Say, well, and then we cut, allegedly, the proceeds of whatever the fuck you get off of them. Debit card, credit card, cash. And then you got to ask yourself, how did they get them out of their car? Passed out. Without being seen, pushing them out of the damn cars. This is where I'm confused about the guys being roofied in Texas. You drug them with water, but how do you get them out of your car? Because guys would weigh quite a bit with muscle mass. And it was a mother and daughter team working, African-American. So I'm trying to see, you put the people in your car, offer them water. If you weren't working with the bartenders at the bar, how do you get them out of the fucking car? That's the part of the story that wasn't explained. There's a guy that has a video about it on YouTube, about the case out of Austin, Texas. See, there's a lot to these stories that don't make sense. Because many people are going to ask these questions. Well, Queen, if they're putting the drinks, roofing the drinks from the bar, then what is the bartender getting out of it? Who the hell knows? Just evil as hell. He or she might not even be working with nobody out there in the audience or outside the club. Could just be doing it for spite. Just want to see people fall down flat on the face. Hope that somebody gets accosted, sexual assaulted. Could just be evil. Doing it for self, jollies. I don't know. Now, at the hotel, well, what do you mean by the hotel? What are you saying? He got hurt at the hotel? What are you saying? Megan, how long has the bar been open? Well, this is what I don't understand. You sent me this article. This shit was last year. It's already March of 24. Oh, people working at the hotel, the bartender. Yeah, but the thing about that is, how would the bartender know that they were going to be coming in? The person at the hotel, they're not going to know which bars you're going to go to unless they said, hey, check out the such and such bar. And then he calls, gives a description and say, hey, there's 5, 6 guys coming from Missouri. They're going to be at the bar. But only one's missing. So you ain't really getting a lick with just one person unless that one person's got a lot of damn money on a credit card, a gold card, or a black card. Just saying. It's all messed up. Whatever the hell happened at this bar. But like I said, this Luke 32:48, you're probably going to end up having some problems. Because daddy and mommy are probably going to sue, especially if we find out you did have somebody in the bar overserved, gave him drinks, and he already walked in drunk. Because you already said you've given surveillance footage to the police, and that might be your downfall, you giving up that damn footage. Because if that footage shows, they can hear the audio, any type of nefarious conversations, anybody look like they're doing something with some packets or baggies, you all are fucked. That's all I'm saying. If the guys seem like they didn't care about Mr. Riley, anybody talked crazy to him, cursed him, it's going to be out on Front Street, and you ain't going to be able to take it back. And that's what people don't seem to understand about being in public places. Don't think it ain't no audio with these damn videos. A lot of stuff you see, okay, is they have audio, some of the videos, when they're filming. So you have to be careful what you're saying, wherever you are, at work, at play, wherever. And I'm trying to see what's going to come back on these people at the bar. The staff at the bar, the guys who are with them, any conversations repeated, anybody's gone back and told somebody anything nefarious between the guys, anybody saying, hey, we fucked up, we didn't take care of them, somebody makes a nasty remark about them getting fucked up, don't care. Because one thing I've learned, men talk just like women. They gossip too, and they pillow talk. So if any of them texted somebody something crazy about Riley, anything derogatory, it'll probably get out because somebody will probably tell it. And I also want to know, will they do a search on the guy's cell phones, just, as a precaution, to see what they were talking about before they got to the bar and after the bar? Did anybody buy any drugs, drug sales? Because people do buy drugs when they go out of town. They go look for shit. They go ask people where they can get something. Somebody tells them where they can get something, or they call somebody to bring something. See, you really don't know. For all we know, these guys have been to Nashville before. Somebody's been to Nashville before. Who's to say? I don't know. Was this guy drugged? I don't know. But it would be bad to find out that he was, on top of being inebriated. 2018. Well, it's 24, coming up 6 years. This ain't a good look. And Queen's next video is going to be about the bar. That'll be the next live, possibly tomorrow, because I've already done enough lives for today. I've done 3. I'm tired. That's going to be the next. And I hope to get a lot of people see the video. And if anybody has a story they want to share about being drugged in the Nashville area, being drugged at this Luke 32 bar, if you're that TikToker that put up that story, or you're the woman who's with her husband and roofied Mickey, you can reach out to the Queen on Instagram, okay? BigSexy.71. Look me up, share your story. I'll bring you up on the panel, and you can tell the world what happened. Or I can play your phone call to the general masses, and people can find out and hear for themselves what the hell is going on in Nashville, Tennessee. It's bad enough. Most of us can't even afford to pay rent, live cohesively, save money because the rent's so fucking high. And all these people are coming from the West out here to Nashville to live, and now East Tennessee. So they now can have something to look forward to, I guess. Living in a place where they like to put shit in your drinks. So maybe the people from out West won't really want to come here. Oh, it's cheaper to live, but they'll put a roofie in your drink. How about that? So now that's what Nashville's going to be known for. Honky-tonk, country music, and get drugged. How about that? We do a whole lot more in Nashville besides play the guitar and the banjo. Cross the wrong bartender, I'll put a roofie in your drink. This is bad. Now we got to ask that question pertaining to women who have been roofied in bars in Nashville and this Luke 32. Was anybody brought up on charges? Did anybody try to sue the bar? Are there currently any lawsuits against the bar? Checkmate. Because if we get a lawsuit by the Strains, listen to me carefully now, somebody's going to file a suit after them if they did not file a lawsuit in the past. They will go back and get their medical records to show they went to the hospital, got their stomach pumped, get the evidence of what was in their stomach, and that they went to that bar. They contacted that bar. They downplayed what happened to the ladies, men. But you won't be able to downplay it if too many people get together and hire an attorney and file a lawsuit against Luke 32 or any other establishment in Nashville or anywhere in the 50 states. That's my content for today. Retracing his steps, Mr. Riley. I showed you content of where he was going. Law officials has spoken to the general masses pertaining to the disappearance of Mr. Riley. Phone pings. Thank you, T. This is a bad situation. This is a very bad situation. Was the young man drugged on top of being inebriated? How many drinks had he had before walking into the bar? How many drinks was he served in the bar? Was he served by the same bartender or different bartenders? Did one of those bartenders put something in his drink? Did somebody who was with him in his company put something in his drink? Bingo card. You all didn't ask that. Could it be that he got drugged by one of his own frat mates? Could he have gotten drugged at one of the other bars and it didn't take place until he got to that bar? I don't know. Did he willingly take something to get an upper high feeling, but it wasn't what he thought it was going to be? Misled. Don't know. Where did he actually go to after leaving that bar? We see that he fell, possibly bumped his head into the pole. Did he get a concussion, bruise, cut, bleed out, internal bleeding? Where is Riley Strain, 22 years of age, from Missouri? Is somebody holding him in a home or house? Did somebody rob him and discarded his body? Or robbed him, threw him out somewhere and he was alive, but maybe he had a brain injury and possibly could have bled out? See, we don't know. So far, the sergeant says this is not a criminal investigation. They don't have any information of an altercation, a fight, or any of the videos that they have of seeing him last. But is he alive? That's the question. Is Riley Strain alive? And if he is alive, where is he? Before I go, because I'm almost at 2 hours. I'm going to let somebody give me their commentary, and then we will check out of here. Thank you for joining me. Hope you all are well. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $sign to Angie, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcomed in the live stream. You're now listening to live number 3. I will be bringing you another live pertaining to this subject, and it'll be about the bar. Luke 32. Hope you're all adjusting to the time chain. It's nothing like seeing daylight when it's later in the evening. God is good. Amen.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you speak for a minute?
Yes, ma'am.
How are you doing today?
Okay, we just got done eating dinner.
Okay, wonderful. Everyone, this is Miss Hagan out of North Carolina. She's in the chat. I'd like for you to give me your personal opinion pertaining to the live streams done today and this content in this live stream. Thank you.
The thing with the young man missing, I believe he hit his head hard enough on that pole. Now, I'm not saying he was drunk, but he could have been drugged. That bar has had a few issues.
Well, you got to remember, slow down. He was allegedly told to leave because he was drunk.
Yeah, and from my understanding, he was put out the back door.
Well, I hadn't heard nothing about that. Where'd you get that from?
Some of the news reports.
Well, maybe he was sitting near the back door. Do you think maybe he was sitting near the back door?
Or if they thought he was trouble, maybe they just put the trouble out at the back door.
At the closest door, not the front.
At the front.
Never heard of anybody going out the back door. That's strange.
But also that bar is like 6 levels.
Okay, and that's what I was thinking. Well, that's what I was thinking when I saw the building. First thing I said, are we talking about a place that has different levels? And they're definitely not going to leave you there because you could roam in any of the other parts of the building and drink.
Yeah, that's what I'm also thinking. And because they have different restaurants and different places to eat and all kinds of stuff in there. Okay,
so back door would still lead me to think, hell, the kitchen, because that's usually where the second exit doors are usually, unless you got a patio and it can go out to the parking lot. I don't know. I mean, every bar is, every building's set up differently.
Yeah. I don't know the exact setup. I was just reading like the reviews and I came across that one that I thought you'd like to.
Yeah, I went on and opened it up on the live in case it had something to do with that might be vital to the story. That's going to be the next live is pertaining to the bar itself and allegations of women being roofie. Is somebody going to speak on that? Is that also going to come up in conversation? And I might just think about reaching out to the family if I get a name and send them in the inbox because they might want to know that.
Yeah.
So let's start with this key business. What key are they speaking of found?
I don't know. I haven't heard about the key.
How do you feel about them?
I don't even think he made it back to the hotel room.
Okay, but I'm just saying, but that don't really have anything to do with it if they found the key. I'm saying if they found a room key, see, we don't get any information. We don't know what they're talking about. We don't know if they're talking about a door key, a car key, a key card. And if they found it, where would they have found it? See, I just vaguely heard that in one of the broadcasts about a key.
I mean, when I went to a hotel, they gave us two cards to open our door and get in the front door if the front door was locked.
Right. So that's why I was saying, where was the key found? If it's a key card, outside the door, in the doorway, on a dresser, on the bed, in the bathroom. What are they talking about? And nobody else is talking about it.
If they gave him 2 key cards, he would only need 1 to get back into the room.
Right. But maybe he didn't use it.
Yeah.
Maybe because he's with somebody as I just said, they doubled up the room. So why would I need my key card? You got the key card. We staying in the same hotel. We staying in the same room. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I asked the question, did he double up with somebody else? I got a feeling he shared a room with somebody because guys are cheap. They don't want to spend no money on no separate room.
The only thing I don't understand is why they waited 16 hours to report him missing.
Well, we don't know, Lolo, if he went back to the hotel. I'm just speaking hypothetically about the key.
Yeah.
About the key. We don't really know what key they're talking about. So I'm assuming it's the key to the room. But see, that's why I said to me, with true crime, people don't ask pertinent questions. That's one thing I hate about talking about missing people, dead people. A lot of people talk around the subject. The police talk around the subject. The detectives, TBI, whoever, FBI, you talk around the subject. Answer the fucking questions that make more sense. Don't show me a video that somebody called 911. You know, make this shit make sense. Why don't you ask the people? Well, why did you call at this time? What time did you leave the bar? See, you don't even hear that. You just say, oh, here's a 911 call video. Okay, you didn't think to ask the fucking people, well, when did you get back to the hotel? Did you go to the front desk? Did you talk to somebody at the front desk? Did you ask somebody at the front desk, did they see the damn boy? Did you knock on his door? Did you look in his room if he lived by himself? Did you bang on his door if he was in a room by himself? Did somebody share a room with him? Now, we found out he shared a room with somebody. You're talking about a whole nother piece of mess. Because that means you walked in the room, knew he wasn't there, knew he left from the bar, and you didn't call the phone, you didn't call 911, you didn't call the desk clerk. That's a problem for me.
Yes. Personally, I believe that he is not alive because it's been too long.
Okay. Well, where is he?
That I don't know. There was homeless camps down by the river, over by that bridge that they said he was walking towards. I don't know if homeless folks got him or if he fell in the water or he could have passed out and died from
head injury, alcohol poisoning. And that's a very good point. Did he die from alcohol poisoning? He went somewhere, walked, crawled in somewhere where there's some bushes to cover up cold, and he died. And they just have not found the body.
Yes.
Very good point.
And with that hit on the head,
bled out
on that pole, he could have had a brain bleed that
very true.
Will do what it does. I just think he would have contacted someone or called someone or turned up if he
That's the part of the story that makes no sense to me. If I see I'm not feeling good, I'm not getting ready to keep walking anywhere. These people have left me. I don't know which way to go. I'm getting ready to talk to somebody. I'm getting ready to go on my phone. Hopefully I have the app on my phone because that makes sense to have the app. It's the one thing I've learned about men, especially young men, they don't think meticulously. They don't think about a worst case scenario and down the road. And a lot of people don't. That's why people get in jacked up situations because they don't foreplan stuff. They don't think, what if I get what's the word I'm looking for? Just removed from the equation from these people. As we heard that allegedly, that's another thing they're saying, that they got, what's the word I'm looking for? Lost, or I can't think of the word I'm looking for. It's a lie. That's all I'm gonna say, it's a lie. They didn't catch up with him. Some kind of way they worded it. I can't think of it right now. But it doesn't make any sense because if he left out, you can't separate it. That's the word. You can't get separated from somebody if you never left in the first place.
Yeah.
That's just a sugarcoat. I fucked up. I didn't walk him out. I didn't call him an Uber or Lyft. I didn't make sure he made it to safety. You can't say you got separated. You want us to believe that you all got a change of heart and said, come on, man, we better get out of here because he's on his own. He's drunk. He may not know his way back. And when you all came out, he was gone. So did he tell them, hey, are you all coming? And they said, yes, give us a few minutes. He waited outside for a while, then got mad and took off. And then that's when they said, oh, we got separated. What's the truth? So I didn't even think about that.
Well, the only thing that I could think of how they got separated is everyone had to pay their tabs. Possibly.
And then he left.
It looks like a very busy spot.
And he left. They took too long and he left.
Yeah, see, I don't get that because if I were him, I would have went and found a bench, a seat.
He was near a bench. That's what's so crazy. When he crossed that street where that homeless guy's walking by with the pool cart, there's a bench sitting right across from the pole. He could have sat right there until somebody came and said, "Sir, do you need some help?" And he could have said, "Yes, I need an Uber or a Lyft or whatever." I don't know why he would keep. Yeah, but I just don't understand a person keep walking. There's footage saying he's at a 15 minutes away from the actual bar. So this is why this is baffling to me. Why would you keep walking and you see you don't feel good? I don't understand that.
Unless he's a goofy male and he's like, "I think the hotel's this way and I'm going."
So T says, so he was okay to pay his tab. Well, we don't really know that he had a tab to pay, sweetheart. We don't have any idea about that, okay? For all we know, he just had a drink in his hand that he had already ordered. And maybe some words was exchanged and he got too drunk. Or somebody's going to have to play the video to show us him at the bar, the conversation, drink in hand, no drink in hand. He's trying to order a drink. See, we don't know. I'm assuming he didn't get a drink.
I don't even know that we will ever see a video from inside that bar.
Well, they've shown it to the cops. You might as well show it. Because next, that's what the family's going to ask. We need you to show us the video. And the news entities are going to ask to show us the video of him inside and you telling him he needs to leave the bar.
Yeah. But I just think he thought possibly he was going the right way and he kept going. And like I said, either he fell out because of alcohol poisoning, because of the bump to the head on that pole, something.
Well, let's talk about responsibility of the friends. Do you believe they're responsible for not helping him? Or are you on the fence?
I don't know. My question would be, were they paying for his drinks or was he paying for his own drinks?
What? Hagen, what does that matter?
Well, if they kicked him out of the bar because he was drunk, if Bobby Joe Sue was paying for his drinks, that means he's kind of culpable.
How am I culpable for you drinking? It's your choice to drink.
But if you're buying the drinks,
I can't make you buy me a drink. Think about what you're saying now. Just think about what you're saying.
Well, what I'm saying is if they're in a group.
And I ain't about to let you ride on that for the obvious reasons. Because if you're gonna go there, then you might as well blame the person that manufactured the whiskey and the vodka. Come on now. The vodka's in the store, it's your choice to buy it. The vodka is behind the bar, it's your choice to buy it. Somebody offers you the drink, it's your choice to take it. You ask me for a drink, it's my choice if I buy it. See where I'm going? It's a choice. That's why I asked the question, was he already drunk before he got there?
Well, that's why I kind of want to say, were they all in a group? Were they buddy system? Was it, I keep watch after you, watch after me? We don't know any of that. And that's why I'm like, wouldn't one guy come up to another guy and say, "Hey, I think you've drank enough, let's go"?
Well, it could be that they've already told him he drank too much at that place, at the last place. But he's an adult. You know what I'm saying? So he wants to get towed up drunk, let him. If they all came together, most people would say it wouldn't matter because they were in a group. But that's the gist of the story. They didn't leave as a group. The other ones allegedly left, as far as we know. Because we don't know if some of the other guys got into something else or went to another bar. See, we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's strange how they waited 16 hours to try to get help to say he was missing.
Well.
So that would mean they didn't double check. They didn't go looking for him. They didn't find him. They didn't make it back to the hotel together.
So let's go there. Did they go look for him? Did somebody say you've had too much to drink and he kept drinking? Okay, did he pay his own drinks for the whole night? Are these people responsible for this guy? Like some guy said, you're grown. Why should my night end because you are escorted out or asked to leave? And that person has a valid point. That's why I said it all depends on your interpretation of friendship. See, that's where this comes to play as far as culpability from the friends. What is your definition of friendship? Because these might be guys that are self-absorbed. I'm worried about me and me only. You fuck up, get in a fight, woo, kicked out, you on your own. Why should my night end because somebody asked you to leave? And for all we know, somebody did tell him, hey, I think you're drinking too much. You need to slow down. And he didn't.
Yeah.
The bar's culpability.
Well, my question is, what are the rules about when they cut you off? That would be my question. Like, how do they come to the the fact that, you know what, you've had too many, we're not going to serve you anymore?
When you're falling over yourself, slurring your words, that's when they make that decision, I would think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's
getting loud,
kind of rules.
Getting unruly, cursing. Those will probably be telltale signs of, okay, sir, ma'am, you had enough. You can no longer drink anything. Could you please remove yourself? We'll have somebody escort you to the door. So then we got to ask that question. Was he formally escorted to the door? Or just told to leave?
From my understanding, he was put out the back door.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know if that was bartender or the.
So where did you read or hear that at?
It was a news report. They did a press conference at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Eastern time.
Oh, I did the press conference. I played it already. I didn't hear anything about him going in no.
Well, no, it was the report before that he was put out by a bartender or a bouncer. I don't remember who put him out, but they put him out.
Okay.
And it was said that he was put out the back door.
Okay. Interesting.
Which I thought was weird, but then I got to looking, and like I said, that's like six or eight levels in the building with 6 or 8 bars and all kinds of mess.
Okay.
It's a big, and it seems to have really good reviews other than.
Yeah, and you don't hear nothing about people getting roofied.
Yeah.
Let me see what this heifer's talking about here. 1 second. Let me see what she's talking about.
That is the very last sighting of Riley Strain, right next to Cumberland River. And so that seems to be where the police are focusing their search, on foot and by boat and in the air. Riley's family and friends have come to help out, and 2 of them are with me live tonight.
Well, the bridge isn't too far from the hotel. I think I played this already.
Thank you both for coming on the program tonight. Chelsea, can I just start with you? Are there any updates
So I played.
Anything that the
I
police
played
have
this
told you?
already. Hold on. Okay. So from looking at the map that Banfield shows, it doesn't look like the bridge is too far from the hotel.
No.
Just from what they show. That's why I was trying to figure out how far was this bridge and the river from the hotel. So what happened? If they've got him near the bridge, then what happened?
Well, see, near that bridge was 2 homeless encampments.
So what's your point?
Well, what I'm saying is he could have fell over and ended up in a homeless encampment. There's by the bridge. They could have robbed him. He could have just fell out and died there.
So what are you trying to tell me? He's laying around a bunch of homeless people, covered up, like he's asleep.
Could be.
Well, don't you think the police would have went in there and looked? Because they said they're cooperating in the camp, so that would lead me to believe they walked in there already. And I think they would pull the covers back on anybody covered up, just to make sure he wasn't down in there.
Well, yeah, but I'm just giving you like all the little things that it could be. Like he could have fell over for a brain bleed, or he could have he could have alcohol poisoning and
But see, but the thing where I have a problem with this, no matter what happened to him, as far as on his own, he would have been seen by now. That's a problem for me. At some point, you have to say he went somewhere and fell out where he couldn't be seen. So that's the whole point of why would anybody just continuously keep walking to even get to that point of falling out somewhere where they wouldn't be seen. I just can't see somebody walking past 15 minutes that messed up and possibly with a head injury, and then they're not even seen just lying on the ground. You see what I'm saying? Because everywhere he walked is visible. That's why they can say which direction he went in, because he was seen. So this is why this makes no sense. He's not seen if he fell out on his own. Now, you have been jumped, pulled, dragged. That's a whole different story. Then you probably won't be seen.
I was going to say, if he's been robbed or beat up.
But then why would I drag him anywhere? Just take his money and keep it moving. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when you see people get robbed and dragged on the outside, there's really no need. If these people are on foot, we getting ready to go try to carry you somewhere. One, we don't got no car to take you nowhere. See where I'm going? So that's why I said this is a weird story, that he's walking, and never says to himself, I've got to stop. I don't feel good. It's just baffling to me that a person would continue to walk. I ain't never heard of no shit like this before.
Well, that's why, either the head injury or possibly he could have, they got roofied or whatever and been not in his right frame of mind.
Okay, I get all of that. I'm still saying this is not a 5-foot person. You can't really just readily even hide somebody 6'7".
Well, what I'm saying is we don't see any footage past the bridge or him.
And that's where I'm going. Could he have gotten in a car? Because you got to use deduction. He's not a small person. That's number one. If he fell out on his own, he would have been seen on a sidewalk, in the grass, somewhere. Because there's so many people out walking. These people are out walking. And it wasn't late either. So my deduction is that somebody offered him a ride or pushed him in a car.
That is possible, too. Because my question is, was there any more footage of him anywhere else? And they're not showing us anything past.
Well, and that's what they're saying. They don't have anything so far of him past the bridge area. And that's probably the last place that actually had cameras working. So if he walked past the bridge and there are no cameras, then anything could have happened. But my point is still remaining. A person that big, if somebody would just want to jump them out in public, I'm not getting ready to drag you anywhere when I'm already on foot myself. See where I'm going? Ain't nobody getting ready to drag that big ass man nowhere and they're on foot. For what? You have to have help. And then that leads me to believe, listen, just hold on. Then that leads me to believe you getting ready to do something more than just robbery. See where I'm going? Okay. That's all I'm saying. Because he's not a petite person that you can just go drag in the alley or go drag behind a building. He's too big to be dragging solo.
Yeah. But then that puts in the idea that he could have been put in a car and taken away, or he could have kept walking and got into an area that does not have cameras. But that also makes sense why they were looking in the water and on the riverbank.
Mm. Well, I don't think he's in the river.
No, I don't think he's in the river.
I think he walked near the bridge and something happened to him right out of sight past that bridge, or he walked past the bridge somewhere else. And I think somebody got a hold of him, because in this day and time, Nashville has a lot of crime, and I can't see any businesses not having no damn cameras on their business. Now, naturally, you may not have them on the side of the building or behind the building where a person can be, walk and be out of sight. But like I said, when you factor in how big this person is, he's just not your average size. Something's going to show, a leg or arm or something, just laying down. I don't care where he's laying down, in an alley, wherever. Somebody at some point got to come through. You got to empty trash. Trash has been emptied all week. See where I'm going? You're going to see something hanging out of a dumpster, a leg behind a trash bin, a leg hanging behind a car. This is just wicked. This is just wicked.
that's the way this world works anymore. I mean, it's crazy, but it's...
Well, let me ask you this. Do you feel like the friends have any remorse for last Friday night?
I don't know. I don't know how true of friends they are, or if they're just, you know, fraternity people.
Well, do you think they've called and talked to his parents?
I would think so.
Why haven't any of them spoken publicly?
I don't know.
Do you think they'll speak publicly?
Probably not.
Okay. Do you think somebody from the hotel is going to speak?
No.
Do you think he made it back to the hotel?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do you think he's alive?
At this point, no.
Okay.
It's been too long.
Okay. So you thinking what? Eventually his body's going to pop up somewhere?
Yeah, or it all depends on
Who got him?
what went on how he disappeared.
And who has him?
Yeah, who has him?
Yeah.
And
I don't think
you know.
I don't think he's somewhere passed out. I don't see that. Because like I said, the length of walking, you're still now talking about 15 plus minutes of walking. Let's just say he had a head injury. I think he would have passed out somewhere because there's only so much walking you can do when you're not feeling good. And then if you've been roofied, you're not going to keep being able to walk. And I think even if he went somewhere to try to sit down or fell out, because when you fall out, you don't know where you're going to fall out. I just think he would have been found by now.
Yeah. Well, now we're learning that if you don't feel well leaving a business, stay where there's businesses because there's cameras.
Yeah, that's why this story makes no sense to me. Why he would continue to walk when there was a bench right there on camera that he walked by, he looked, turned around and went back in the opposite direction when he could have just sat down there, you know, tried to sleep it off because eventually police would have came through to do their little sweep for the night if he was still out there, and they would have poked him, sir, and they would have probably tried to check him for ID, and this wouldn't even be a story.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's walked the distance possibly up to the bridge and not even be stopped by law enforcement, that's bizarre.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the other thing that got me about the whole situation. It looks like it's very busy at night there.
Yeah, because we see people walking by him.
Yeah, they were like gawking at him.
Because that's the whole point of the story. If you're judging the friends, associates at the bar, people in the bar, bartender, well, now imagine he's on a public street and ain't nobody stopped to render aid. To say, hey, are you okay? Can we get you a cab? Can we get you some water? You need some help? Where you going? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he wasn't helped. So he wasn't helped by anybody, not even the people that he allegedly went with.
It's as simple as, are you lost?
So what I'm asking is, how did they get to the bar? Did they get in a ride share, a public transportation, or they walked to the bar?
Well,
I need to know the proximity. The proximity from the bar to the hotel.
How they got from the airport.
It's a half a mile, they said, from the bar to the hotel. So that's why I was asking people in the chat about the mileage as far as walking. Because they may have been able to walk there and bar hop, but I don't think they would have been in a walking mood after drinking at the last bar.
Yeah.
So how did the guys get from the bar back to the hotel? Did they call an Uber, ride share? Somebody was already out, ride sharing, making their presence known, Uber sign, blah, blah, blah. How did the guys get back? Did the guys check the room, knock on his door, call his phone? And also, did he room with somebody and they went on the bed anyway, thinking he went somewhere else? Let me ask you this. Do you think he shared a room with one of the other guys?
I would think so, to save money.
To save money, exactly. Because that's what people do when they take trips and it's more than one person going in a group. Everybody knows when people go in groups to conferences, church conferences, businesses, it's more than one of us. We usually, I'm going to say we, but people in general, it's cheaper to get the one room with the double beds. And usually you book trips months in advance to go to functions just so you can get the cheaper rate. You see what I'm saying? For the hotel. And then Nashville will be busy on weekends. So I would assume they did this in advance. it's all interesting. I don't want to say bizarre. What's bizarre to me is him not asking for help and stopping. But we don't really know what transpired in the bar, who said what, escorted out by another arm, leg, you know what I'm saying, a guard. Did he share a room with one of the guys? Did they come back and go to the front desk and ask if they see him? Make it back in. Can you check your cameras? We just want to know that our homeboy made it back. See, we don't know none of that. And I think that's the reason why they're not speaking, because they know they can't answer those questions because those questions have a negative answer.
Yeah.
They didn't do due diligence.
Well, not only that, I look at it like this. They had to be sharing rooms because they're college kids. They're like in the early 20s. They don't have money like that.
Yeah, and everybody knows the rooms are higher on the weekend than in the day. It's just like an airline ticket. It's all the same. Anything on the weekend, as far as rooms, the rate is higher.
Yes.
The rate don't go down to probably Monday. Sunday to on to about Thursday. Then the rate jumps back up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bet that he shared a room with somebody, and that's where this key conversation is coming in. He probably left his key behind in the room. And now we have to ask, why would you wait until afternoon to call law enforcement that your friend is missing? Or maybe they thought, well, he might have met a girl, hooked up with a girl, or blah, blah, blah. But you have to see the state he was in when he left.
Yeah. Oh. Not only that, from my understanding, they all went back to Missouri.
So the 911 call had to come from Nashville, right?
Yeah, but like after they went at this, going to the police station, can't get in the lobby. They call 911. They say what they need to say. I guess the cops came, but they all left. They all went back home.
Well, they have to go home because you got to remember, we don't know how they got to Nashville. We don't know if they drove. We don't know if they had airline tickets. For all we know, they had to catch a plane.
Well, that just makes me believe that maybe they weren't good friends. They were just frat brothers.
Okay, so let's say this. They had a plane to catch. What are you saying? They should have stayed behind and forfeited the flight?
Well, it takes 5 minutes to make a phone call to see if you can delay your flight or catch the next one.
Okay. Now, you find out later nobody tried to delay the flight. They made it on the flight or by car. They went on back. Same day. You would then say what? They weren't his friends.
Well, I mean, a true friend would have been calling the parents and been like, we have a problem here and I can't leave until...
So let's go here.
What to do.
Who contacted the parents to say that he was missing?
I don't know.
Because I don't think I've heard that.
Like, it's so open-ended again. This is holier than Swiss cheese.
Well, you know, the one thing I've learned about true crime is that there is always what I'm trying to say, a script. It's just a matter of who's going to repeat the script and repeat it right. But we already know when things go bump in the night, it's got an intricate layout. What you have to figure out is how to lay it out to make it make sense. So that means you got to have somebody to either tell the story, spin the story, or CCTV footage. That's it. So you got to have somebody to start the day out. We got here at this time. We went here at this time. We went here, here, here. Pookie said this. Ray said this. The person walked out, escorted out. The person walked down the street, turned the corner, around the street, up the street, met foul play, didn't meet foul play, passed out. The universe knows what happened. We just don't know.
Yeah. And
that's where the problem is. And then you got to worry about the versions you get from anybody that wants to give information, is that they're telling the Holy Grail.
Yeah, because it's all alleged, because unless it's on footage or it's not wrote in stone, so it's all allegedly.
And now that you tell me that the bar has different levels, we now have to ask the question, could it have been he was in one part of the bar and the guys were somewhere else? Because if you're talking about 4 or 5 bars, restaurants, You got to now prove they all were right together when he got escorted out allegedly. Who's to say one wasn't in one part of the bar, two was over here at another bar? See where I'm going?
Yeah.
One was on the dance floor. I don't know.
And then, according to what I read, they have live bands, and I'm sure they probably had a live band on that weekend.
Yeah.
So it's going to be loud.
Because we're not going to assume that the guys all hung together the whole damn night, especially in a place that has different floors and different venues. Because just like the bar downtown here in the old downtown Knoxville, it's a bar that you pay one cover charge and you can roam each floor to a different music. So there's hip hop on one floor. There's Hispanic music on the top floor. See where I'm going? A top floor with a bar and a view of outside, outdoor patio. See, each room has some different type of music. Downstairs, when you first walk in, that's live music to the left. See where I'm going?
Yeah.
Each floor's got something different. So for all we know, he was at the bar with one guy chilling. Three other guys was at another floor or another room. See, we don't know if they were actually all together.
Yeah.
See, I thought it was just one bar. A one-room bar.
No, it's a big building.
So if it has different floors and levels, we don't even know if they were all together.
Yeah.
So he could have got kicked out and nobody knew.
It's as simple as him heading to the bathroom and bumping someone, spilling a drink, and he was possibly escorted out. And no one knew because he could have been going to the bathroom.
Yeah, because now that we have different levels, you got to now say, you got to show footage that he had somebody he knew with him to say, yeah, I watched him get escorted out. I was there when they asked him to leave. Because what'll be interesting is he went back to the bar to get another drink. Because I'm thinking that's where this scenario took place, if I'm to believe their version. He went to the bar to order another drink, and that's when he was turned down.
Well, see, that's my other thing. Do they have it where you can start a tab, or do they have it where you pay as you drink?
No, you pay as you. Well, you can't tell me how to pay my money. You don't have to have no tab, because you might have somebody who's not a drinker. So you can't say you got to buy this many drinks. The only place I've seen they do that in Atlanta is when you're sitting on the floor. And they had like a 2-drink minimum at the table. So basically, they're telling you couldn't sit at the table unless you're ordering 2 drinks. See where I'm going? But how I pay is my choice. If I want to pay by cash, run a tab. And as I told people earlier, I don't recommend using your card just so you don't end up getting card fraud of leaving your card, because they could take that card and buy their cousin, Pookie, Ray drinks at the bar, and you won't even know it until you cash out, and then you're sitting there arguing about how many drinks are on there that you don't believe you ordered. See what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, well, see, that's why it would be nice to know, because did they have a tab going? Did they have to go back and pay the tab before they could meet up with Riley? Or, you know what I'm saying? Was there a reason why they didn't make it out with him?
Because what did I tell you earlier about men?
Yeah.
They don't navigate like women.
Yeah.
And I read that comment from somebody, and I had to think about that. Men don't navigate like women. So when you're a woman, you're thinking as a woman would think. Guys aren't hovering over each other all the time in bars. They move around. They see a pretty girl, they go walk and talk to her. Now, you have some guys that act kind of codependent when they're hanging around each other, slobbering all over each other like girls, but every guy don't act like that. So for all we know, they were all moving around. See, we don't know because we don't know who they are. We don't know what kind of guys they are. And it could just be nobody wanted to leave yet.
Yeah.
Because I read comments where men were saying, why should I spoil my night because you're drunk and you're asked to leave? So now you got to ask, was anybody else asked to leave during the night after he left? How drunk were the other guys? How many guys were there together? Why didn't somebody walk him out? Why didn't somebody call Uber? Did somebody try to ask him to, did he have an Uber app, Lyft app? Hey, you got a ride? Hey, you got a way to ride? Do you know your way out of here? See, those are the things we're not hearing because they're not speaking to the public. We don't know the conversation in the bar. We don't know if somebody told him he had too much to drink. We don't know if he was escorted by foot, hand. We don't know if they said leave and he just walked out on his own. We don't know nothing. And that's what's baffling. And the one thing we've learned about fraternities, if they think they could be involved in any way or look that bad, they're all going to stick to the same damn story.
Yeah. That's why I'm wondering how much I believe the bar will cooperate with the police, but I don't think they're going to say much more than that because really they don't have to.
Well, you do if you gave him more drinks and he was already drunk. That's why the video is saying, did they overserve him?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the point. You don't know until you watch the video.
Well, I guarantee you that bar is saying that they did not overserve him.
Well, but what you say and what's on the camera are two different things.
Yeah.
See, I can say anything because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to lose my license as a bartender. I don't want to get fired. But the video is going to show how he looked when he walked in. If he was sloppy when he walked in, first thing that's going to be said by an attorney, you saw that he was drunk when he came to the bar. Whether Pookie ordered the drink or not, you still should be watching for the people to see who's all coming up there to get the drink. Because somebody has to hand them the drink. Whether one person ordered it, they all standing behind the one person, or each bought their own drink. See, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't doubt he went to the bar to get his own drink, and that's when somebody said, sorry, sir, you're cut off. If I'm to believe it went like that. If. Because, see, I don't really know what the hell happened in that bar. I told myself, what if our little nice guy is the type that gets crunk, get loud? See what I'm saying? You don't know. He could have been flirting with somebody, had words with somebody. See, you don't really know. And I'm telling you, these are men, young men. They will lie for each other. Could have been flirting too hard, and the girl got upset. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me. I'm not interested. And he kept on. Might have touched her hair, touched her shoulder. See, you really don't know. Because we've learned that people change when they have alcohol in their system. That what starts off as a nice lady, nice guy, they don't end up being so nice once they get that liquor out.
Exactly.
So that's why I try to weigh all possibilities, because I'm not here to say he's a bad person. I'm not here to say he's an alcoholic. I'm not really here to even talk bad about the friends, because I don't really know the dynamic of the relationships. I don't really know what was said in the bar. I don't know if he was drunk when he already got to the bar. I don't know if he went to order a drink and then they said, hey, you're cut off. They physically escorted him out, or he just walked out on his own. I don't know. Or he could have been a little, hot, a little belligerent, could have been loud talking. They were asking him, please lower your voice. Who's to say?
Exactly.
Anything else you'd like to say before I wrap up?
No, I think I'm good.
All righty. Well, until the next one, tomorrow will be about the bar. We'll talk about it, and we'll pull up any information pertaining to any other allegations, and that will be the live stream for tomorrow.
I will make sure I am available.
All right. Well,
all right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. All right, everybody. This is Ms. Hagan, North Carolina. Thank you for joining me. This commentary is 2.5 hours long. I did not expect to stay on this long. Thank you, T, for moderating. Billboards put up in the city of Nashville. Very noble of the people who paid for the billboards. Did these guys call the parents to let them know that the boy was missing? Was he rooming with one of the guys? If so, why didn't somebody call 911 and realize he wasn't in the room? What time did they return home? How drunk were they when they got back to the hotel? How did they get back to the hotel? How did they get to the bar? How many bars did they frequent? Was this young man Riley drugged? Did he take a pill from somebody thinking it was something, but it was something else? Did somebody put something in his drink? Did one of the frat boys put something in his drink? Did a bartender put something in his drink? What the fuck happened to this young man? Where is he? Passed out, hurt, hit his head, bump, contusion, brain bleed? What? He's a big guy. Kind of hard to hide somebody 6'6", 6'7". Let's just keep it real. And I'm assuming if he fell out in the street, he would have been seen by now. Ambulance would have went and got him, so on and so forth. Or he went somewhere and tried to, cover himself up, weather, cold, cool, start shivering, feeling sick, let me go sit somewhere. But it was out of the way where nobody would see him. But then you got to ask yourself that. Where out of the way would he go sit and 6 days in, still not seen by another human being? Homeless camp? Did he walk down in there, lured down in there, drugged down in there, pushed down in there? What? Because you got to now explain how the camp is set up from the bridge. You can walk down into dirt, what? Concrete, what? A tunnel, what? See, I don't know because I'm not there. But I know something is awry, and I want to wish for the best. So what I'm hoping is that the young man's alive and he's just disoriented. He doesn't know who he is. He's just walking around aimlessly, don't know his name, don't know that he's from Missouri, don't know that he goes to college, don't know that he was even in Nashville for a conference. And maybe he is actually alive and he's just wandering around the city of Nashville not knowing who he is. I mean, that could be a possibility if he had a head wound, if he actually hit his head on that little concrete wall near the sidewalk. Or it's the worst case scenario. He fell, hit his head, and sat somewhere, laid somewhere where he's undisclosed and they haven't found him. And he's not alive. He's wandering the streets alive, but he doesn't know who he is. And then there's number 3. He encountered someone lured him, pushed him, shoved him, put him in a van, car, did nefarious things to him, and unalived him, and discarded his body somewhere. What's the truth? If you have information to the whereabouts of this young man, Mr. Riley Strain, please contact authorities. Also, you can call Crime Stoppers and be anonymous and give a tip. Will there also be a reward for the young man? I don't know. But when I get that information, I will bring it to you. This is a very dire situation. I'm sure it is heart-wrenching for the parents, devastating to the parents, friends, family, because you don't assume you're ever going to hear this news about your loved one. But this is why I keep telling people when I make these lives that you have to be aware of your surroundings, wherever you are, your house, visiting people, traveling, going out of town, hotels, motels, going to other people's parties, functions, hiking, camping. It's all the same. You don't know people, and you don't know what the hell can happen to you when you are out here navigating the earth. And when it's dark 30, you should best believe the vultures are out, even at 9:35 in the damn evening, 10 o'clock at night. Hell yeah, they're out. And they're looking for a moving target. All they need is that opportunity, that window to pounce. And my spirit is telling me that is exactly what has happened to him. Could I be wrong? Of course. I'm praying he's just somewhere disoriented. He don't know who he is and where he is. And he doesn't even know to ask somebody. You know, I think I'm lost. I think I was somewhere visiting, but I don't really remember everything. I'm praying that that's what's happened to him. He's just disoriented. He's moving about the city, and he just has no idea that he's a missing person. Because we have learned anything is possible. He could actually be alive and just don't know where he is. And then the flip side could be, okay, he's come to from being drunk and knows who he is and wants to wander around. I don't know. We have seen strange things. We have seen people deliberately concoct a kidnapping, disappearance, and they were aware of their faculties. And then we also have to ask, did the boy have any mental disabilities? Now, just because he's college educated does not mean he didn't have any type of mental issues. Because he could have bipolarism, he could be schizophrenic. You don't know. I'm just throwing out other possibilities besides, focusing on the negative, that he's unalive. So maybe there's something else going on that we have no idea about who he is, because that was asked also, would he deliberately go off? And the family says, no, he's not that type of person. But we have seen in rare circumstances of people who have willingly, they weren't inebriated or under the influence of a drug or alcohol, but they willingly left and played possum. And like I said, I'm not here to say that happened, not here to say he's not alive, but you don't know, because we don't have any more CCTV footage of the man walking, talking, sitting with somebody's by him talking or luring him or pushing him somewhere. So you don't really know what, but you think the worst only because we're 6 days in. and it's now almost dark 30 here in East Tennessee. That area is 1 hour behind me. It's nighttime, and there is no information of his whereabouts. So hopefully he is alive. If he is not, where is he? And how did he get into a position if he's not alive? How? And whom? Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BeganG129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome in the live stream. Thank you for following this network. Welcome new subs and viewers. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below. We'll put up a poll pertaining to this situation. If I could think of something else to ask, I'll probably ask questions about the consumption of alcohol, what really happened, and who's going to bear responsibility for the disappearance of this young man. Will there be blame on the friends, the bar owners, so on and so forth? Will they even take any responsibility? Was he overserved? Will we find out he was overserved and should have had no alcohol in this bar? And also, where are his personal effects? His phone, his wallet, credit cards, so on and so forth, cash. Are they still with him in all his persons right now? Those are my questions. Empathy from his friends, associates. Do they feel bad they didn't walk him out, didn't call a cab, ride share? What really happened inside that bar? Did he leave on his own or asked to leave, escorted out, or asked and he walked out? Did he bump his head? Did he ended up bleeding or internal bleeding? Was he drugged? So many possibilities. And I also brought you content from Ms. Hagan that this bar has had women roofied before. And I read you the stories of women who said they had somebody put something in their drink. And one just so happened to be with her husband when she was roofied. Do they have any pending lawsuits against the bar? Has the bar settled? Voila. Has the bar settled any lawsuits of women, men being roofied? Bingo card. Will we find out they got nefarious people working for them or working inside of the bar with patrons, bartenders to scheme, scam people? Will we find out this is a grifting, grind type establishment? That we've got people on the take, on the inside, working with people to come in and watch the people, the patrons, to set them up? Are we looking at something more sinister than just some guy got drunk and kicked out of a bar? We will see. Thank you for joining me. You have been listening to The Vault XL.